Are we live?
Yeah.
All right, we're fucking live.
You want
Here
some
we
of
go.
this Four Roses? You want some of this Bullet?
Or do you want some of the one that you brought?
No, now let's go with the bourbon.
Okay.
Four Roses is fine. That's great.
Yeah.
Bourbon.
I'm not
Let's
picky.
finish that shit.
Perfect.
Is this the one you brought?
Yes. Yeah, you weren't here for the story. So me and my wife, we like to go to Italy, and we were on the island of Ischia, which is an Italian island off of Naples. And I found this little. Well, I went to dinner, and the waiter recommended that after dinner was over, and I'm like, "Whoa, what is this?" Anyway, we find the distillery. I keep beating on that, and ends up they take carob chips, which when the Romans were conquering Europe, the soldiers would run out of food occasionally, and I guess they would eat carob pods to get something in their belly while they were off fighting wars. And then they started distilling carob, and then they end up making different types of whiskeys and brandies with it, and that is a carob, Italian carob. Not a whiskey, not a brandy, somewhere in the middle, sweet.
What's a carob? I don't know what that is.
It's kind of like a bit different, an off chocolate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think they can make chocolate with carob, like a bitter type chocolate.
It's a little bit more bitter, yeah.
Kind of like a bean looking.
I've never even seen the pods themselves. I think it's more of a nut size thing. I don't even know. It's just a cool, you're not going to find
cool,
it here
though.
type of thing. You
The
know?
carob is a flowering evergreen tree or shrub in the subfamily of the legume family.
Thank you, Jamie.
The carob tree is native to the Mediterranean region. So there you go.
There we
you
go.
now know nothing more than you did.
Nice.
All right, so if you guys are just now joining us, we have Aaron Della Vedova from Guru Tattoo in the house today.
Hello.
Set up a connection through Tim Spear, who's also co-hosting or guest co-hosting today, because Nick is out of town on this one. He's doing some work stuff, so it's me and Kevin, Tim sputting in, and then we got Aaron here today. We're talking about some interesting stuff. We're already like a half hour on the what's this, the side quest?
Behind the
What do we
scenes.
call it? Behind the scenes.
Side quest.
Side quest.
Spirit world.
yeah, exactly. So we're going to do a bunch of different stuff. A little intro for Aaron. Guru Tattoo has been a mainstay of San Diego tattoo culture for 25 years?
25, yeah.
25 years. I remember before I got my first tattoo at Avalon, which is across the street from you guys.
Which is
Avalon
where I
2.
worked before I opened
no shit,
Guru,
yeah.
for 6 years.
Yeah, it was widely regarded as like the best tattoo studio in town.
Where?
Guru Tattoo, his shop on PB. And it was doing wild stuff before anybody was really got into like the hyper. Like now, there's a lot of guys doing some really amazing stuff. But when you were on the scene, you were kind of well known as like it was your shop to go to get like just the best of the best. It was dope.
Where's your shop now? Is it still in PB?
Well, yeah, one is in same location. I say 25 years. I had it by myself. That's why I named it Guru Tattoo. I was like, oh, a guru. He sits in a cave all by himself, and he does his magic. And I was all by myself in a cave when I left Avalon. And then the cave got pretty lonely, and I realized that my art wasn't going to grow without other artists around me.
Yeah.
I'll get into what happened to me when I entered the tattoo industry 34 years ago, because it was pretty buck wild back then. But because of the fucking actual PTSD I think I was suffering from the gangsters I worked for, Avalon was great, but they had some people that worked there that echoed similar vibrations. So my thing was like, I can't go back to a shop, even though at the time I probably would have. I wasn't really the guy that wanted to be an entrepreneur or a business owner. I just wanted a place that was peaceful and kind, where I could express myself as an artist. And I just finally said, I got to open my own spot. That way I can control the environment. If there's a shithead in here or a drug addict working here, I can fucking fire him and I could keep it clean, you know?
Yeah.
And so Guru on Garnett was born. It's been at 1122 Garnett for 23 years. And then we have another location of 12 years in Little Italy.
Cool.
Yeah. So those are the two spots. And there's talk of one in Austin, maybe. We'll see. We'll see where this is going.
That'll be exciting. All right, cool. We're
I know
excited
a
to
thing
dive
or
into
two
it.
about Austin.
I think you guys have a mutual connection there.
Who's that?
Joe Rogan.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
You know Joe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, really well.
I did his sleeves.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, I did Joe's sleeves. So,
cool.
Joe's a buddy of mine as well, and I've been out there quite a few times to the mothership and hanging
Sweet.
with Joe, and that's of course a big honor. I mean, when I was tattooing him, he was somebody, but since then he just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Nuclear.
Gargantuan.
Dude, that is fucking crazy. I was just out there and I gave him some of our shirts, and was we'll talk about it later when that's not rolling. But Yeah, that's a fucking interesting tidbit.
Small world.
That you,
Yeah.
I didn't realize Joe got a lot of his ink out here.
You got all of it. I did every single bit
Oh,
of it.
he actually came out to San Diego.
Did it right there at Guru Tattoo
No
Garnett.
shit.
Yeah.
That's
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. Well, dude, I lived in PB for like 9 years, and it's odd that I'd never. I don't think I got any. I don't think I have any PB ink.
You probably stumbled past it.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I stumbled. I used to live on Hornblende between Cass and Dawes.
Oh, that's right in the middle
For
of the
like
shit show.
forever,
Yeah.
and then I moved up Hornblende between Haynes and
epicenter of
Ingram.
shit show.
And then I lived on like Lamont, Missouri for a while. But yeah, all my shit was my first tattoo. This badass fucking tribal fucking
Yeah,
band.
nice Pamela Anderson style, dude.
I got that. Yeah, I got that at Flash in IB. Greg Jones gave me my first tattoo, and then
Another seal, of course. That's where you went.
and then I didn't get another tattoo for like 14. I don't know, 12 years. Let me see, 96 to 2004. Whatever the fuck that is.
Yeah.
How many years that is. And
It's a while.
Mike Martin gave me another seal, gave me my Frogman SEAL Team 5 logo, and then, dude, after that, my shit just went bam, 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 bam. You know,
Flying dicks
as it
everywhere.
does.
It's addicting.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I actually got this done at Avalon. I had no idea. I couldn't tell you who did it. I was probably drunk. It was PB. So
You remember what, like around what time period that would have been?
probably it was between Buds and SQT. So it had to be like 2009 or 10. So probably 2010 actually. Yeah. When did you open Guru?
23 years ago. So I would have been gone by then.
Yeah, long gone. Okay.
That's about the time I got my first tattoo too. Yeah.
What?
2010?
2010?
Yeah, I didn't get
Really?
any.
Really?
I didn't get any
Holy
tattoos until I was
shit.
29. Yeah.
So you didn't get a lot of
fucking
tattoos
crazy.
while you're active duty then, huh?
None.
Yeah, it's crazy, dude. Actually, Eddie Gallagher's like that too. He didn't get his first tattoo until he was in the brig.
Dude, the guys
Yeah.
now have like full like neck tattoos, hand tattoos. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's pretty dope, bro.
Yeah.
They're allowing that shit.
It's fucking
Cool.
crazy. There's a lot of we're already off on a little side tangent here, but there's so many team guys that I know that have, I mean, neck tattoos, hand tattoos. I mean,
Yeah.
when Tommy Crimmins came in like 20,
He was the most tatted guy on the teams for a while.
well, next to Mike.
Oh yeah,
Martin,
yeah. But he's
which
a Vietnam guy. He gets
Yeah,
a special kind of
but,
pass
I mean,
for that.
Mike was. I remember the first time I saw Mike Martin running down the fucking beach when he came back in. I mean, I think he'd been back in because he was Vietnam frogman, then got out and then came back in sometime like after like the Gulf War or some shit, and was at 3 for a while. And I just remember, dudes wearing like little fucking silky fucking
Catch me,
shorts.
fuck me shorts. Yeah.
And dude, I just see this dude. He's like completely fucking inked out. You couldn't even pick out a piece of real estate on this dude's body other than his face. And even then, I think Mike had like behind ear tattoos.
Oh,
and
shit.
His
Yeah.
hands were completely covered. And
Tommy has one of the most
actually,
memorable
fuck, I don't
tattoos
know
I've
if his
heard
hands
of.
were covered.
Do you ever see Tommy Crimmins' rooster tattoo? He's got like
I have
funny
a picture
tattoos.
of it.
Oh sweet, I gotta see.
What is it?
So
The cock that hangs below?
The cock that hangs below my knee.
yeah. So he's got this tattoo
Classic.
of a rooster hanging on a noose on his calf. And it's like, what the fuck is that? He's like, what? You never seen a white boy with a cock hanging below his knee before?
I did that motif on an old friend of mine, and we did his entire
Oh,
front
shit.
of his foot. A huge rooster. The noose was here, and the rope went up here, and it was same joke. Just
A BWC. Yeah.
really put some effort behind that
All
joke.
right. Yeah. Really.
We definitely have to get into that like craziest tattoo. But while we're on the topic, there was a guy, and I think you were still an instructor. He had his dick tattooed as a lightsaber, like the
I
base
heard
of
about
it was
this.
gray.
Yeah.
Oh, I made him take me to the bathroom behind second phase and show me his dick. Yeah.
Corpsman responsibility.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
let me see it. Nice dick.
Let me see it grow.
It was a little faded. Yeah. What's it look like when you whip it out? Does it make the noise?
Jeez. All right, back on
Sorry.
track. So
Cheers, you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Cheers.
Thanks for
Shit.
coming. Indeed.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
God damn it! Now I gotta fucking get into it. Here.
Just waiting on you, Kev. Waiting on you.
Hurry up.
He's going neat.
Hurry up.
He's keeping it neat.
Usually he's the one leading the charge here.
Come on, Kevin.
I know, right?
All right.
Cheers, fuckers.
Cheers.
Cheers, fellas.
Thanks for having me on.
Indeed.
Good to
And
be here.
to listeners, thanks for joining us. So we normally we try to start at the beginning, a little bit of background, like how'd you grow up, where you grew up, kind of like family life, to give the audience an idea of like context for like
Sure.
where you came from.
Born Iowa. Almost all my family from Iowa, Midwest people, salt of the earth people. My dad was a contractor. My grandfather was a contractor. Other relatives are farmers and just blue collar workers. So I grew up in an environment where that was reality. You know, to make money, you dug a ditch, and that was the only way to make money. And that's what set into my psyche as a young man. And I took that work ethic with me throughout my life. Dad moved us out to Boulder City, Nevada when I was like in the 4th grade because he was a contractor. Vegas was popping. Boulder's right outside of Vegas. And he started his own contracting company, got pretty big.
You know what?
So like a builder, right?
Like,
Yeah. He built the El Cortez. No, that's down in old Vegas.
Oh, shit, yeah.
You know, it's not the biggest joint, but it's
around what year that was?
That would have been
Like 70s sometime?
early 80s.
Early 80s.
Early 80s. So, you know, Vegas is exploding. But big contractors are moving in. And I won't go down this road, but what my dad learned in that game is that if you're new on the block and you're not big, they have their ways of sinking the little boys through lawsuits, basically. So he ended up going through made a ton of money, went through a huge bankruptcy. Whatever. That isn't really too relevant other than me as a young man watching how the harshness of the business world can be and, you know, unfair it can be, things like that. And then I just went through high school there in Boulder City, grew up kind of a I don't know, I was a pretty wild kid, you know, punk rock, mohawks, drugs, alcohol, you know, not too extreme, but, you know.
Extreme
pretty extreme. Like
enough to be interesting. Yeah.
My kids, they do things wrong nowadays, and I'm always like, you know, you kind of like, don't do that. And I'm thinking what I've done. I hope they don't listen to this one because if they knew what I did, they'd be like, you kidding me, motherfucker?
How old are you, Aaron?
54.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, finished high school. Didn't really know. I'd drawn my whole life. I loved art. It was the only thing that, you know, in my youth, I went through tough times like any teenage kid, and drawing ended up being what I look back now and still today as a form of like meditation that I didn't even know I was doing at the time. All I knew is there was chaos and I was stressed or I had anxiety. I could pick up a pencil, look at a piece of paper, and 3 hours might go by, and I didn't think about anything that would bum me out. You know, it was a way to calm the voice in the head, you know. I think that was almost a coping mechanism. Whether or not people are, you know, born with raw talent, I think that's true, but I think most creative talent is developed, you know, and then you put enough hours sitting there with a pencil and a piece of paper. I think anybody could probably learn to draw pretty damn good. Well, I put my hours in, I got pretty damn good, and then got out of the high school and didn't have any direction, really started going sideways with the partying and the drugs, working for my dad's company, doing construction, and just, it was getting too buck wild. Even for me, some things happened where I'm like, all right, this is not going to end well. I can tell where I'm headed here. Yeah. And then the neighbor, who was a retired Coast Guard guy, because they were all like, we're going to put you in the military. And I'm like, I ain't fucking going to the military. Yeah, there's no way I'm doing
Military's
that.
Military's for fags.
Queers.
I just didn't have that patriotism gene in me yet, which I do have now. At the time, I was like, fuck that, you know, go fight wars for, punk rock, anarchy.
Yeah, I thought the same thing when I was in high school. I'm never joining the fucking military, ever. No.
Never. But this dude convinced me with the Coast Guard jam. He's like, it's different, dude. It's more like a fireman, you know, it's cool, you know. I was like, they eventually got me to do it. So I did the Coast Guard 5.5 years. But the whole time I kind of knew I'm going to probably move on, you know. I can feel in my heart this. I actually enjoyed the Coast Guard.
Where do you go for boot camp in Coast Guard? Like New York or something?
Cape May, New Jersey.
Yeah. And then where was your first duty station?
Well, I lived in Virginia Beach. It was in Portsmouth, Virginia.
Oh, yeah.
We patrolled the Caribbean.
It's
that
like
was
the Naval Hospital right there.
Yeah, huge naval base, hospital, all that shit. Yeah. But we patrolled down in the Caribbean that 2.5 years, picking up Haitians and Dominican Republicans that was during that big exodus. I guess that would have been early 90s where there was strife in those countries and they were jumping in rafts and trying to fucking free float their way to Florida. Yeah. We were picking them up by the hundreds, taking them to Guantanamo, processing them, telling them they were coming to America to keep them calm, but really the Marines would pick them up in Gitmo.
Psych.
Got you, bitch.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah. Oops.
Which was also a pivotal point for me because to that point in my life, I'd never seen like real suffering, you know. And I was on the RHI that would go to the ship to transport them over. So I'd board these like broken down piece of shit boats that have been floating adrift, rotten goat hanging from the mast that they've been feeding off of, babies, kids, naked, they're starving to death. And I'm just handling these people, and didn't really realize it at the time, but it was good for me because I really, that depth of gratitude for being an American.
Gives you context for sure.
Just being born here with all these luxuries. I was like, oh my God, I could have been born there. Like, these guys are fucked, you know?
And all these people complaining about their latte order being wrong.
Could you imagine a white guy being born down there? He'd be double fucked.
He'd be so rich and privileged.
Yeah, with all your white privilege.
Just born with it. But dude, to your point, man, I think every kid should do that doesn't know what to do with their life. Like, even if you join the military and just write a desk job, you're getting some kind of trade or education out of it and experience.
Well, even if you don't do military, I think it's important at that age too, where you're really kind of searching for where you fit. Is you got to do something where you find context for who you are and where you fit. For me, that was the SEAL teams.
And
but
you
like,
get benefits out
You
of
get,
it.
I mean, a lot of people don't. You come out of the military and be like, man, I fucking sat on a boat for fucking 4 years. I got fucked. You're like, yeah, motherfucker, you got fucked so hard. You got
GI Bill.
education benefits. You got fucking
VA home loan.
VA. You can get a VA loan, which is huge.
Fun ass port calls.
Yeah.
Even if you get rated 0% on your disability, your kids get free tuition in every red state at least. Like,
a lot of red states for sure.
There's so many benefits to it, and you can only do a 2 to 3 year enlistment now, actually, and get all those benefits.
Well, I think a lot of times too, people, like, when you're younger, you don't really realize the importance of like these like kind of building blocks that you build your character on later. But at the time, you're like, fucking this, fucking that. But now looking back, you're like, oh, you know,
well, especially going into some of these. I mean, especially going in the Navy, dude. They teach you how to be a proper drunk too. So no, I'm just kidding. But it is fucking funny though, because dude, some of the best stories are dudes that are in the military and be like, oh, dude, we're at this fucking bar, we're at this bar in the Dominican Republic. Like, if you go and do 3, 4, 5 years in the military and then you go like, fuck it, man, it was cool, but not for me. Or hey, I learned something. I got my GI Bill, and now I'm going back to wherever the fuck you grew up, dude. Like, my brother went to both my brothers went to this college. Well, I went there for a semester, but went to this college in Kentucky, and dude, you would have dudes that were in the either National Guard or served in the military, and they would come back to the area, and they had the fucking best stories. Yeah. Because it was always some, random ass bar. Oh, yeah, we were in Saudi Arabia. Well, maybe not Saudi Arabia, but we were in Bahrain, and we were, or we were in fucking blah, blah, blah. And it's pretty fucking crazy hearing people talk. You're like halfway around the fucking world doing this shit,
It's life experience. And you're at the age where you got to build character, and there's no way to build character until you've been in some shit. You guys as SEALs, another level to the shit. But even for my little world in the Coast Guard, the crazy shit that happened when I was in Colombia, and my chief knocked the fucking cocaine over the whole bathroom, and the dude was going to stab
Tell that story.
You got to come back to that one.
That's just my little Coast Guard world, and then you go back as a 25, 7, 8-year-old, and I'm talking to people that just got out of college, and I could tell I know a little more about how this world really works than you do.
It's actually
life experience.
It's actually a funny part of why we decided to start this podcast was because I know, like, I got out, and then everybody when you're in has such wild and crazy stories that you don't really realize how crazy your stories are until you get out and you start telling like your civilian friends, and they're just like, wait, what the fuck happened?
What did you have up your ass, Ryan?
You're like, oh, I guess that is kind of weird, And so that was kind of the impetus of like putting this whole thing together. It's like, I think these are just really interesting stories, and I think the character and the legacy of like our time in the military is kind of shifting now, and that's partly what we want to do is kind of the start of it anyways was to try to document kind of those legacy culture stories, and not that not that it's either bad or good. It's just a time, and that happened, and it's fun. We enjoy it, and we're just sharing it. But that's kind of what it is. But yeah, it's when you're in, you don't really realize how wild the stories are until you get out, and you're like, oh, that is fucking.
We're documenting the military before it got politically correct.
Yeah.
It's funny you said that, because I was going to say that, because I'll tell a quick one then.
Yes.
So this is the difference between our era and today's era. I show up to my first unit after boot camp. I'm a non-rate machinist mate in the machinist mate crew. I'm waiting to go to a school.
Yeah.
So I'm nobody. I'm a piece of shit. And basically, I walk into the engine room, and everyone's standing around a vise, and one of the guys has got his thumbs in it, and there's another dude who's tightening it by quarter turns, and they're going, "All right, that's 4. That's 4, dude. I know it. You got 5 in you." And I'm just standing in the background going, "What the fuck is this?" And he gets to like 5, whatever the number is, and he's
Tell
like,
us his name.
I'm good. Yeah, right. And they unleash him, and they look over at me like, "Oh, new guy. Get in. Let's see how many turns you can get off this bitch." And
Get
I'm
those
like,
balls up here.
close. We'll get there. So I don't, I want to be accepted by
It's
my
the only
new
way I can
friends.
finish.
So I throw my thumbs in there, and I forget the numbers, but I'm kicking the shit out of the last guy, and I'm pretty proud of myself. Like, I've got more, and it's hurting, but I'm like, I can go another fucking quarter. Just give me a little more. And then I'm like, okay, I've definitely kicked his ass. You guys are gonna love me for this. And they just all looked at me and smiled. I'm like, unscrew it, and they're just like. Pants came down, and they're walking around me, and now I'm naked. My pants are on my ankles, and I'm like, "What the fuck? Whoa!" And
Am I not supposed to be hard?
they took a.
Why is this guy wearing a thong?
Is that a butt plug?
He's already got one in.
Oh, it's glowing.
They took a grease gun, put it in my ass crack, filled it full of grease. Got to be real scared, basically.
Yeah.
Then they released me, and I went and took a shower, and I think I was part. But the hazing, right? That stuff, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not completely gone. Maybe not in the SEALs, on your own little areas. You guys
A
are.
lot of it is.
It's gone, yeah.
And maybe, maybe that's good. I'm definitely not cool with a lot of the woke culture and these things that have occurred. We can get down that rabbit hole. I have my opinions about it.
Yeah.
My interaction with that particular story worked for me. I'm a pretty robust male that knew how to hang out with boys, and I kind of walked away liking it. Got me.
Yeah.
I like how you guys fuck around. Now I know we can play like this.
Yeah.
You felt connected.
I did.
Yeah, you felt
Yeah.
accepted.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a fine line, though, with people.
Well, you get a different guy.
Some people
who's
take it way too
timid,
far.
who's soft, who's got a gentle personality. That little incident I went through could fuck him up.
Oh, yeah.
forever.
It needs therapy for the rest of
You
his
let
life.
his thumbs out of the vise, and he crawls to the fetal position and has a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
And next
Yeah.
thing you know, everybody's going to mass.
Well,
Yeah.
I think there's an art to a good hazing, Like you got to set the intention. Like, what are we really trying to do? Is this like a, hey, welcome to the team hazing, or is this like, hey, you fucked up hazing?
Yeah.
You know.
And I think that's a lot of, at least the team guy hazings that we encountered. You get that training creep to where it's like, this is what we're trying to accomplish. And next thing you know, it's like motherfuckers one-upping one another. Next thing you know, some dude's on a fucking spine board.
Tabasco bottle up his butt.
Yeah, being fucking
too far.
towed
Too
around
far
fucking
here.
Island in the back of a fucking Humvee by his fucking happy hat,
Yeah,
You're
on a
like,
Skedco.
like it's okay. He's got a C collar. It's not going to break his neck. You're like,
Yeah, it's definitely some mission creep on that stuff.
yeah. But no, the welcoming aboard, I think that's probably where a lot of these hazings started. Like, hey, we got a new guy. Let's fuck with the guy a little bit. Let's show him our personalities. Let's bring him into the fold. Probably creeped into some shit. Probably went from what you're talking about to the one time somebody was like, well, he's got lube up his butt. Let's take this fucking pipe wrench over here. And next thing you know, a dude's, been fucking raped with a fucking pipe wrench up his ass. And
Look at how much it did for this last guy. Let's see what happens if we take it a step further.
I mean, dude, how many times you hear stories about team guys that literally were like getting married and had a fucking lock put around their fucking dick and balls and shit. Like hanging from the, there was a team guy who was like, they're doing like Friday PT. Dude's like on the fucking bar doing pull-ups, and they snatch his ass up, zip tie his fucking hands to the bar, strip his shit down, lock around his dick and balls.
Yeah.
And like, I mean,
They hand the key to his wife or
spread
something.
eagle. Yeah.
Dude, I know guys that had their eyebrows or head shaved the day before their wedding.
Yeah, that's not. No, that's not it.
That's too far.
Yeah,
We did that to Scotty Paulson right before he went out to the island.
You're hazing their wife at
It was
that point.
Tage, Tage and some other dudes. Well, maybe I was there too, but it was pretty fucked up because he was in my garage and we're spray painting in black. With
his whole body.
You're not supposed to do blackface.
No,
dude.
it was black, green. It was every paint color that we had, but I had a predominant amount of fucking black spray paint because I was spray painting the frame of my Jeep. So like, dude, it was like
camoing him up, dude.
Green and red, and we made sure to do like his right side was red and his left side was green for the fucking
buoy
red
markers.
right returning and sure as shit, Gabby walks out in the garage and sees Scotty laying there. Like, what are you complaining about? At least you still got your eyebrows. And we're like, oh,
Not anymore.
which was
Good idea.
yeah. And then he shows up to third phase and he's got remnants of spray paint all over him. And Gut was the third phase fucking chief out there. It was like, who the fuck did this to you? Like, oh, Kevin Kit and Tage and his brother Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle.
So it was
hair
like,
pie.
But he threw up on Tage's couch, so
He deserved it.
yeah.
Yeah, fair game.
Yeah.
All right, back to Aaron.
I forgot where. Well,
We're talking about the benefits of hazing.
yeah, I was, and I do, but yeah, they might have to because it always ends up getting out of hand. Somebody always dies. I mean, you've seen all the stories. You know? So I don't know how I feel about limiting that. I wouldn't have wanted to be limited. I love my stories. I'm glad I went through them, but times have changed, and we're in a new world where that might be history now, for the most part.
Just do like a safety observer. And you need everybody to be on board. Like, okay, what are we trying to accomplish here? No training creep. Nothing's going up and out. You need like a
exactly.
you need like
the hard left
brief.
and rights, dude.
You need like a safety brief.
A manual.
Yeah.
It needs to be an ORM on hazing.
Yeah. Which by then it becomes so non-fun. You're just like, fuck all this. Like,
Exactly.
Not worth it.
Yeah.
I think the
cool.
guys are still doing like the one I had an experience which I talked about in depth previously, but it's basically running around Danny's after hours and realizing like, okay, the teams are still in good fucking hands, dude. Like, because I was kind of worried about it because all this wacky shit shows up and you don't really know what's going on, but after seeing what those guys are doing, I'm like, dude, the teams are still in good hands. They'll be okay. They'll be fucking all right.
That's good to know.
Yeah, well, the teams are probably a little different category and level than all the other sections of the military that have been infiltrated by some of the more recent bullshit I think that's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that I know we're probably tiptoeing around it. I think I know some of the stuff you're referring to and certain people being allowed to be on teams potentially.
Woke
and
DEI stuff and then women in the teams is a whole different thing. But I think young dudes who join the military usually join for similar reasons. And I think just that human characteristic of that time in your life as like an aggressive dude, like you're going to find a way to push the limits. Like you're going to find a way to get with your boys. The same thing is probably not happening, but the same thing is probably happening just in a different way now, you know? Yeah. They'll get around it. You know, I'm not too worried. The red-blooded Americans still fucking exist.
Yeah, dude, team guys are always going to be pirates. So you can tell them to shave and wear the uniform the right way, but they're gonna break rules behind your back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like teaching a fucking ape how to like play the drums or something, you know?
Yeah.
It's like
Still an ape.
Fuck it up.
Yeah. Still an ape.
They're gonna destroy it. Like,
Shit on the cymbal.
Yeah. They're going to hit stuff.
yeah.
Well, so the military was great. You know, I needed discipline. I needed to learn how to get up on time and be somewhere on time. You know, I came from high school doing whatever the fuck I want. So that I didn't realize that at the time. It was teaching me all that stuff. I did spend the first 2.5 years pushing against the system. I think I did the scullery duty, the dishes duty on that first ship for the first 6 months.
Yeah, mess
for 100
cranking,
for
right?
100 men.
The Coast Guard does that
3
a
a day.
lot with guys that they come out unrated and then they just work in the kitchen for a while, don't
Well,
they?
I got that for telling the XO to fuck off, basically.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
can we get into that story?
Yeah, well, while I was in boot camp, they selected me for honor guard. I was the right height, the right build, whatever. I go through the interview process because you have to get whatever that clearance is to be near the president. I don't know what that one is
Yeah.
because you're going to be outside of the White House. It's a good gig. They're telling me, look,
Yeah.
you're going to work out every day. You do need to dress nice. We're going to fly you around the world. And you're going to just hold a gun and look cool at funerals and look cool in front of the president.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great gig. Yeah.
All the guys that were there pitching it were in it. And they're like, bro, if you get through this, this is it. You're going to love this. I'm like, I'm in. Let's get this done. During the interview process, they told me just whatever you do in there, don't fucking lie. Just tell them the absolute truth. Nothing you can say is going to be a problem. We'll work around it. And I got in there, and it was a simple question. Have you ever done cocaine? And I said yes. And they were like, okay. And they just went to the interview. I got out, and then my boot camp instructor just pulled me in and just fucking tore me. It shredded me for the rest of the boot camp, really. He's like, why the fuck would you? I can't get that security clearance. Once you say you've done cocaine, you will not get it. So I was out. So I get to my first unit.
Now you tell me.
Yeah.
If I were in the trust tree, what the fuck?
I would have lied.
Yeah.
I thought I was
Shit,
doing the right
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But when I get to my first unit, they see that I was selected for that. So then the officers on that ship select me to be the boardroom
Yeah.
waiter.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I
the
put on
valet or whatever the fuck
I put
it's
on a
called
dress
in the
uniform.
mess. The mess.
At sea, I serve these motherfuckers dinner at night.
Yeah.
And I'm new, so I now know the XO is. I think he could sense I had a very strong,
Rebellious
a
streak.
lot of will. You know, and he sniffed me out. So he's like, "Hey, go get me a piece of chicken." So I go into the kitchen. I'm like, he goes, "Make sure it's small." I go in there and I tell the cook he wants a small piece of chicken. They're digging through the chicken and they're all the exact same size. I'm like, I guess that one. I bring it, I set it down, and in front of all the officers, he looks at it and goes, "What the fuck is this? Didn't I tell you a small piece of chicken?" I'm like, "Sir, I looked through all the chicken. That looked
Cut
like
it
this
in
one
half,
of the
you fucking cock.
Yeah.
I'm thinking all
Eat a
that.
small
Like,
piece.
Do you want me to cut it for you too, sir? What the fuck?
He's testing me.
Yeah.
He wants to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
what I'm going to do. So I walk out, sit down, take off my dress uniform, unbutton my shirt, and just have some bug juice. And then the cooks are coming out like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm not fucking serving that guy." And they're like,
Fuck that
You
guy.
realize what this means? Like, you're going to be in the brig. Like, we're at sea. Like, you'll be in a jail cell the rest of this trip. I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
And
Bread and water, bitch. 3 times a day.
134 or something like that.
anyway, it turns out what they did to me is they made me do dishes for 6 months. Yeah, and then the chiefs find out, and nobody liked this dude, so they find out what I did to him, and I became the chief's best friend, and I would sit
That's
with
awesome.
them
Fuck
at night
yeah.
and drink whiskey at
Yeah.
sea.
Hell yeah.
They love me. They're like, "This is
That's
the
dope.
kid that told the XO to fuck himself." You know, so
Fuck your chicken, sir.
yeah. So
Hell
yeah, that happened. But the military was really good. I did spend those first 2.5 years trying to like push against it. My second unit here in San Diego, a smaller ship. We did some quick coastal interceptions for drug and mostly search and rescue. It was fun for another 2. Well, that first one was 2 years. Second one 2.5 years. And that one I decided to play the game. I was like, look, I kind of had a moment of like, Aaron, you agreed to play by their rules. So if you're going to buck their rules, who's the dick here? You are.
Yeah.
You say you're going to do something, fucking do it. You shake a man's hand and say you're going to do it, then do it. So the second unit, I decided to be a good soldier, and I had a good time at that unit.
You call yourself Aaron when you talk to yourself?
No,
Listen, Aaron.
Uran is my nickname. So those were fun years. But then when I got out, it was time to figure out something to do. I spent a few months wallowing around, and I don't know, it was a weird moment. Like I was cleaning my father-in-law. I was married to my first wife at the time. I don't know why I'm doing this.
Yeah. How do you clean your father-in-law? Is that how you asked him for permission?
Cleaning my father-in-law.
That did not line up right.
Father-in-law was huge.
Big man. But I just had art. It's got to be art, you know? And then like a bolt, I had gotten tattooed in the Coast Guard, and I never really thought about it at the time. It didn't seem like a viable path 35 years ago.
What was your first tattoo?
It's lasered and covered, but it was on my upper back. It was sort of like the Anthony Kiedis Red Hot Chili Pepper thing.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Different, but similar. And I guess that saddened me, the exposure to tattooing. And literally, I was like, fucking tattooing. That industry's growing. The dude that tattooed me, there's no way he's going to be able to service what's coming. And I'd been to other tattoo shops before I picked him. And I'm like, these fucking guys are clowns. They don't know what they're doing.
Wait. So had you ever tattooed before?
Never.
So you decided you were going to go into tattooing
Like that.
before ever even doing a tattoo?
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
But I had the art. Like I knew I could draw better than that dude that tattooed me.
Had you still been doing art your time in the Coast Guard?
Yeah. They had me paint a bunch
Have you
of shit.
kept any of that stuff, like your old art?
It's funny you say that because I just 2 weeks ago dug this thing out of my attic and it's full of all that shit. I'm ready to post some of it because I want my.
You got to, yeah.
Well, I got these young folks that look at me and they think, "How will I ever get there?" And I want to post like that. I used to look how stupid this shit was. Like, it's okay.
Yes.
Keep at it.
This is where you start.
Yeah. This is where
People
I
love that, dude. That's the stuff that gets millions of viral fucking views.
Yeah.
Is like,
It's a skull with a top hat.
Everybody wants to see you fat before you got fit.
Look how badass that is. I mean, dude, look how fucking badass is that right there?
A chicken.
The dick and butt. It's like,
I love that.
why would you do that? Like,
They just go together. I don't
sound
know.
like the thing to do at the time.
Dicks and
What's the
butts.
style?
Yeah.
But I did, and then the story. I guess maybe I should do this story, but getting into tattooing back then I didn't even know. I was very naive, which was a good thing because I went into it with.
What year was this?
This would have been 95, probably.
Wow.
So I'm down in Vegas, beating down doors at these tattoo shops that are still owned by Hell's Angels and different shady people. Everyone just tells me to go fuck myself. I drew a bunch of cool pictures. I'm like, but look, I can draw. And they're like, get the fuck out of here, you idiot.
So you were looking for an apprenticeship at the time? Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And I finally got picked up by this dude named, there's one guy before this. Somebody told me, you got to go down to meet Mel. Mel tattoos out of his house behind the Union Plaza, Old Vegas. I was like, all right. So I go and meet this dude. He sees my shit. I have like $2,000 to my name since I left the Coast Guard. And he says, he happens to name that number. You give me $2,000, I'll teach you to tattoo. You show up here every week on a Tuesday, I'll teach you how to tattoo. Okay, give him the money. And I went there once.
Never see him again.
Well, he was there. Once I went there, he was showing me his, can I say this word? The N-word. And he literally pulls a needle out of this drawer, goes, this is my N-word needle. And I'm like, I don't even get it. I'm like, what? He's like, I use this one on all the N-words. And there, I'm just
He's got
like,
a segregation needle.
yeah, he's basically saying, I'm going to use a dirty needle on any black person I tattoo.
Yeah, that's disgusting.
Super fucked up. And I'm just like, that's fucked up. I have black friends in the Coast Guard. I'm not like that, but I'm also like, dude, just fucking learn. If he could just get you to the point where you could tattoo a little bit, you can get out of his shadow and get on with this.
Well, sometimes what you learn from those people too is how not to be,
Oh, that was an easy one with this
lesson,
dude.
Yeah.
Third trip down there, knock on the door, answers the door, looks at me and goes, who the fuck are you? And I'm just like,
There you go.
Like it's Tuesday, just slams the door. I stand out there for about 5 minutes thinking, he's got my money. I know where this is going. I should probably take action here. And then the better part of me is like, dude, what are you going to do? You don't know.
That's a nice way to say I was pissed off I was going to murder this motherfucker.
I wanted to. I mean, that's all I had. It seemed like a desperate moment. Now looking back,
that pisses
whatever.
me off.
Another lesson learned. Now I got the lesson of you're entering a world that is, you don't know this world. You need to be you need to be vigilant,
So you unscrewed his natural gas meter.
Slashed all his tires.
If I'd been that creative.
The pipe wrench
there was no Yelp back then, but I left a negative review.
Yeah, right.
Then I bounce over to this guy, Hinge, picks me up. He says he's a Hell's Angel. That's a long story. Find out he's really not, but he's a 6'6", beard to his dick, Hinge is tattooed in his ditches. Hinge.
Sounds like the right guy.
He's the right guy for sure. And I roll with him for a few months, and he starts talking about owning me. We're gonna go to the top together. You're my guy, and I could just tell like this is some fucked up, twisted relationship he's trying to develop. Pull my shit out of the shop in the middle of the night. night, he's calling me, telling me he's going to hunt me down, cut my hands off. My wife at the time is like, this is fucking crazy. You got a Hell's Angel that's going to hunt you down, cut your hands off. And I'm kind of believing it. I know now looking back, I think it was all bullshit. But at the time, I'm like, fuck, So I'm like, where do you want to move? And she goes, I don't know. I heard Portland's cool. So I was like, let's go. So we loaded all our shit. And we flew up to Portland. I got a Yellow Pages, ripped all the tattoo shops out of there. It was like 17 shops. Went to every single shop, and we got to the last one. It'd been like 3 days. Every single one told me to fuck off. And we're on the way to the airport, and I go, look, there's this one place I didn't hit. We just got to hit it. And I do. And I meet Frankie Fumano. And Frankie learned from Henry Goldfield. Henry is kind of like Sailor Jerry and Ed Hardy. Okay. He's a very old school, respected tattooer from San Francisco. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, this guy might know what, and he's got his shit together. He's got a syllabus. He's like, if you're my apprentice, we're going to go through these lessons, and this is this, and that is that. And I'm
lesson
like,
plan, dude. All right,
I'm like, this is fuck. Yeah, let's go.
Like, where were you 6 months ago, motherfucker?
Well, let me finish the story.
Shit.
I'm on my third apprenticeship at this point. I'm a year and a half in on tattooing. And what I learned later is Frankie, when I met him, he's a heroin addict and a cocaine addict who happened to be on a sober. He had a new girlfriend, and the girlfriend had requested stop the drugs and alcohol. And he had this new hot girlfriend. So he was in this like really bright place. Mm-hmm. That's when I meet Frankie.
Oh, shit.
About 3 months in, girlfriend leaves him, and now I meet the real Frankie. And I'm coming to work, and this dude's passed out on the floor with needles in his arms. He's put me in cars, and we're driving to fucking houses to score. He's throwing 9 mils in my lap, going, if you hear anything go crazy in there, you come in fucking shooting. Are we clear? I'm just like, whoa, we are getting buck wild here, man. I ain't killing people for you. I mean, I nod yes, but in my mind, I'm like, I'm not fucking running in there with this gun if something... so
you better get me a rifle
with a scope.
Are the keys in the ignition still?
So he would come to work and be like, hey, you guys are doing good today. Let's go get lunch. And we go down to this place called the Tillamook there in Beaverton, just outside of Portland. And he'd be like, before we eat, why don't we get a drink? And the bartender knew him, and they would pour a glass full of vodka like that size to the top and splash it with like soda and a lime. Pass him to me, and my buddy saw it, and he'd be like, we'd drink that one. I mean, already it's hammer time. It's fucking 2:00. He's like, let's have one more before we eat. And I'm like, it's Frankie. Man. The only answer is, okay. We drink that one. And then he's like, fuck, look at the time. I don't think we're doing lunch, dude. We got to get back, get tattooing. Bring us back to the shop, ripped, give us bags of cocaine, be like, if you guys are feeling shaky, we probably drank a little too much. Just have some of that.
Oh man!
And I'm like,
this will even you out.
This will even you out. And then that night, knocking at my door at 2 a.m., going, "Hey, you have any of that cocaine I gave you earlier left over?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't even use it. Here, have it back." I could go on and on with the friend.
Do you mind blowing some of that up my ass?
my first thought too is like polar opposite sides, Vegas to Oregon, and now you're talking about cultures that are totally different, but it's not. It's the same fucking shit.
No, not this culture. Yeah. It's the same kind of.
You think that's just a tattoo world is kind of like that? There's
back then, most of it. There were some I know now some little places I could have bumped into that probably would have been pretty relatively healthy. For whatever reason, I bumped into these 3 in a row.
Because there's a huge straight edge culture around tattooing too now. Like people that are very don't do anything.
Yeah, there was back then too. I didn't bump into any of those till I got to San Diego.
You just kept getting unlucky.
I did, but no, really, because this is one of those things like in life when you think things are bad. I learned from this. Like, wait, you can't call it bad yet. Give it 10 years and tell me what it was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because now, the 10-year me later, after I look back, and the things I learned through what I went through set me up perfectly to run my shop when I opened it. Because I had people, and I can get into that later, but some very gnarly, sketchy things went down when I opened Guru. I'll probably be careful around how much of that I talk about, but I had already had exposure, so I was more prepared to maybe deal with some of that. If I had never seen or touched it, I would have. Who knows what I would have done? So it was perfect, really, what I had gone through.
There's a lot of therapy that goes around tattooing and tattooing culture, but there's a lot of darkness associated with it too, because it is like people do it for the right reasons and people do it for all the wrong reasons at the same time.
Especially back then. I mean, now tattooers I mean, almost all people coming in right now are in it for mostly the right reasons. They see a great art that they can express, they can have all this freedom, they can do tattoos, all the good reasons to be a tattooer. Back then, a lot of the folks I was meeting, and I'm getting in 35 years ago. These guys have been in for 15 prior to me. And a lot of the folks, not all, and I know if anyone's listening, there Henry Goldfields and Ed Hardys were around, and there were some class acts happening, but a vast majority were it was a place to go as a criminal or as an outlier of society or a drug addict where you could scratch out a living and still do your shady shit on the side. And that was most of the industry. That's not today. That shit's gone.
At the time, that was kind of the implication of having a lot of tattoos was, I mean, it's kind of like you were kind of known to be into shady shit if you were having a lot of tattoos at the time. Yeah. Yeah. And that was mainly who had tattoos back then. Now it's, I mean, obviously completely different, but it's interesting to see how these things change over time.
Yeah. Well, changes. And you're talking about what I'll get into here maybe in a minute is I call it the Renaissance, which is what happened after I became a tattooer. So the thing with Frankie, it ends in the story of how it ends is kind of a good one. I should tell this one. So Frank calls me at like 2 a.m. and goes, hey, you need to come down to the shop. You need to bring $600. There's 2 dudes here and they're going to kill me if I don't give them $600. And I'm like, okay. And my wife goes, where are you going? I tell the story. She starts crying, begging me not to go. Who knows what probably right thing to say. Like, you don't know what you're walking into.
Be a little careful, yeah.
Yeah, be a little careful. And finally, I call my buddy Saad, who worked with me, who was single, and I go, Saad, can you bring Frank the money? Like, if I don't show up or if you don't show up, I know how bad this is going to go. He's like, I'll fucking bring it down. So he does. And I show up to work next day, and Saad's there, and I go, what happened last night? He's like, nothing. I go, what do you mean, the dudes? And he goes, I got here, it was just Frank. And I go, he needed $600. I gave him the $600, and he took off. And I'm like,
fuck, dude.
Motherfucker, he just needed... and at this point, I know he's a heroin addict. He would shoot heroin at night and shoot cocaine in the morning to get through his day. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, I get it. He wanted to scrape $600 off of me. Okay, no problem. So I start my tattoos for the day. Not really doing the math that, he's got a very gangster mentality. Like, he's the head boss of the gang, and when he says do something, you fucking do it. And if you don't, there's a price to pay. So he walks in. I'm in the middle of a tattoo. He walks in and like Kmart white underwear, no shoes, no shirt, mud on his feet, like mud kind of on his legs, hair all disheveled, almost naked. And with a
walk of shame.
Guns and Ammo magazine would sell those Rambo knives with the little compass.
Yeah.
He's got one of those fucking things in his hand. And I instantly know what's going on. I just like do the math like this. I'm like, oh, he's pissed at me because I didn't show up with that money last night. And sure as shit, he squares up on me about from here to that camera.
While you're tattooing.
While I'm tattooing. The dude I'm tattooing is between me and him. I'm in a corner. There's no window. There's no door. That's the only way out of this place. It just comes aggressively marching towards me. I fucking throw the machine down and push myself into a corner like getting ready for whatever I got to do next.
Yeah.
Puts the fucking knife right up to my face and says, you ever leave me hanging like that again, I'll cut your fucking head off. And then takes the knife between me and my client and stabs it into the floor and marches off. Dude I'm tattooing is like white, I'm a little more, I've been through enough at this point to know what it was. I'm like, oh, big bluff moment.
You're just wondering why he's in his tighty whities and his
I'm doing
feet
that
all
math,
muddy.
which I kind of know he slept in a ditch last night is what I'm pretty sure happened.
Christ.
Dude's like, I'm almost done with this tattoo, and he's like, should I leave? I'm like, you're good, bud. He's not coming back.
You got $600 on you.
So I go in the back after the tattoo's over, and there's Frank passed out with a needle in his arm. And I go home for the night. Next day I show up, and I pull in the parking lot, and I see a box fly over my car and hit the hood of my car, and all my ink and tattoo machines go across the parking lot. And he's in the door, and he's like, "Here's your shit, boy. Get the fuck out of here. You don't cross me like that." So he fired me technically, and then I spent 6 months really going, is this what I want to do? I don't know if this industry is ready for what I think it could be. I think it could be beautiful. I think it could be art. I think it could be creativity. But I can't seem to find anyone that even shares this dream, So I just sent out resumes to the top shops in the country at the time. One of them went to Avalon, and nobody wrote me back. A couple more months go by, and now I'm ready to really go back to college or go to art school. And then I decide on a whim, I'm like, you know what? I'm flying down to San Diego. I used to be stationed there when I was in the Coast Guard. I like that town. And I'm going to go physically into Avalon Tattoo. They didn't write me back, but I'm going to go do this. So I fly down, get a hotel room. That night, my wife calls me and goes, guess what I got in the mail today? I said, what? She goes, a letter from Patty Kelly, Avalon Tattoo. They want to meet you.
Wow.
I'm like, I'm in a hotel 2 blocks from the fucking shop. So that to me was
perfect.
like serendipitous.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Walked in there the next day, met Patty. She hired me. That was the beginning of my professional career because these people were pros. They were relatively had their shit together.
Were they on Garnett at the time? I think they had Avalon 2 is the one I got tattooed on. That was on Garnett. Did they have the first shop?
That's where I was.
Was that on Garnett as well?
The first one was on Garnett.
Okay, yeah.
Just Avalon. When Phip Buchanan and Patty Kelly, who were the husband and wife duo that opened that, split. They got divorced. Phip opened Avalon 2 in North Park.
North Park, yeah.
Yeah. And I stayed at Avalon 1, although I would go over to Avalon 2 and work with Phip once in a while, who, by the way, Phip, amazing fucking human being. And Patty. I mean, if you guys ever hear this, they gave me my first break. And then I got exposure to big name tattooers that were working there, Bill Canales and Randy Jansen and guys that had their shit together. And I really learned from the guys I worked with, there.
And just for reference off of like your vision, what it was like back then, like obviously you're really known for like big pieces that cover like multiple joints across the body and stuff. And your style is like the whole neo-new type of, like, you blend a lot of stuff. What was it like then when you were submitting to like Avalon? Were you in that mindset of like, what was your art like?
I was in that mindset, but I didn't have the portfolio to prove it.
It's hard to get someone to commit like an entire half of their body to you.
I'd never worked at a shop where those customers walk through the fucking door. You know,
They just want like small pieces, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm working for Frankie up in this outskirts in Portland. I mean, we're getting shady motherfuckers who don't have much money getting whatever. When I got to Avalon, that was the best shop in Southern California. If you had money, if you were serious, you probably went there, and immediately I locked into that clientele and was like, "Oh, you got
big pieces."
Yeah, and I had seen an article by in a magazine about a guy named Philip Liu. I don't know if you guys have heard of him, but in our world, he's arguably one of the greatest tattooers ever to live. And he had been doing these huge bodysuit drawings. And that was the first time I looked. And I'd seen Japanese bodysuits, but I wasn't interested in that Yakuza style. I was more of a illustrator, new school guy. I was like, and I saw what Philip was doing, and I was like, oh, you could take any art style, and if you could get the composition right, you could do a bodysuit on somebody that isn't Japanese Yakuza looking. It's new school looking. And that locked me in hard on that being my goal. Got to Avalon. The Renaissance starts, meaning the shows on TV kick in, and the gold rush fucking explodes. Within a year at Avalon, I've got a year-long waiting list. Within 2 years, I don't even know how long my waiting list is. By the time I leave Avalon, I would open up my books twice a year, and at my little solo studio, there'd be a line of over 80 people that would wait in line twice a year just to have a consultation with me. So, this isn't to say I'm the greatest guy in the world, although at the time I was one of the top dudes. Now I'm one of the top dudes, but it was more the lack of supply, demand. There was a lack of supply for the demand. Not a lot of people could do these big new school neo-trad shit well with good color work, and I was one of them. And if you were back then, you were fucking busy. So yeah, that's
so. Was your
it's great timing, man?
Typical day,
Lucky,
like when you were working the heyday of Avalon, like you'd come in at like. You know, was it like an 8 to 5 or 12 to
noon
12
to 8.
12?
Noon to 8. Get there at 11. Get your shit together. I mean, doors would open. You tattooed every day, all day,
8 hours
or more. I mean, every day you want some more money, stay till midnight. You know, we do that all the time. You know, and it's 5-6 days a week, just grinding. But it's a craft, right? Crafts are built on hours, and that you know. And I knew that even then. But there's no book you're going to read. There's no teacher that's going to teach you the secret needle they're using or the secret ink they're using. You just need to grab a hold of a fucking body and put those hours down. You need 10,000 hours, you know?
And it's subjective, too. What works for you might not work for the next guy, and vice versa. So
100%. You got to find your way of getting it done, you know? So Avalon was my grounds to do that, to get the hours, to get the clientele, to get where, you know, at the next phase, which ended up being Guru, you know?
You know, it's funny looking back, too. Like, when you're going through it, you often don't see how the plan is unfolding. But looking back in the rearview mirror, it's like, man, that was fucking perfect.
Yeah.
That was my point earlier.
Yeah, totally.
Frankie was perfect. Henge was perfect. Mel was perfect. Avalon was perfect. And I mean, perfect's a strong word, but was the right things to be happening for where I need to be going.
Man. Everybody has a different interpretation. Some people use religion as
it's all
God's
the same thing.
timing. It's all the same thing.
Yeah, universe, fate, God.
We all have a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and obviously too the culture, like somebody with somebody looking like all four of us in the fucking 90s, wasn't as accepted by society as like now. It's like
everybody thought you were a Hell's Angel,
everybody's now. It's
criminal.
like, who gives a shit? He's got a fucking arm tattoo.
Well, I remember when things changed because I didn't have any tattoos until I was 29. And I always wanted, because you always see these guys too that like they try to tattoo themselves tough, and but they still walk around
tribal tattoo.
but they like walk around all like slunched over, but they have this like huge, like big, bright, vibrant stuff, but that's not their personality,
Yeah.
And so I always looked at tattoos like I wanted to look on the outside the way I felt on the inside. And growing up, I was always like, I look like a fucking pretty boy douche. That's just kind of like the hand I'm dealt. Cool, I'm fine with it. It's good. But I was like, I've always had that kind of, I won't say dangerous side, but for lack of a better term, dangerous side. And out in the wild, the markings of an animal will tell you like it's fucking dangerous or not. It's like a rattlesnake's got a rattle. Like everything's got this thing. The marks say, hey, don't fuck with me. I was like, well, at the time, I was like, maybe one sleeve would work, but I didn't want two because in like 2009 or whatever I got, two I felt at the time was like a little bit too, I don't want to say gangster, but it was too much. It didn't fit my personality at the time.
Yeah.
But 9-10 years later, I was like, two fits now. I think get two, and also culture changed too, and it wasn't viewed as like this kind of like ultra dangerous thing, which I wasn't. It was viewed more of as like a more, I don't say normal, but I felt it fit me more. So I was like, cool, I'll get it.
Acceptable. Yeah.
It's kind of weird too how, I mean, at least whenever I was first started getting ink and tattooed and stuff, like, my second tattoo was literally on my forearm, and then it was like, well, fuck, man, I'm already below the sleeve line, but it was kind of weird because I don't know if there's like this unwritten rule, like you don't get below elbow tattoos until you get above elbow tattoos. And,
that was the thing back in the day.
Weird shit like that.
Now it's the opposite. People start with the neck and the hands.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Like I was at this bar.
True. Yeah.
I was at this bar in Oceanside, and there was this chick bartender. I don't remember her name, but dude, she was all inked out and shit. And like there was a guy who showed up. This is one of those times I was SQT and we were teaching at Pendleton, but then we'd stay at the hotels right there in Oceanside. But I just remember this chick was like, just not really chewing this guy out, but she's like, why do you have fucking hand tattoos? You don't even have like arm tattoos. And was like kind of reading this guy the riot act, and I was just like, why the fuck? First of all, why the fuck do you even give a shit?
Yeah.
But it was kind of like one of those things where she was just like, dude, like you fucking poser, fucking blah, blah. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's a lot,
man? I was
man.
like,
That's a big. So I want to hear Aaron's input on this, especially. But like, that's a big part of the therapeutic aspect of tattoos. There's just so many different ways that people use it for therapy. And since I've taken this role at Veteran Inc., I didn't even understand it when I interviewed for the job or accepted the job, and I'm still unfolding a lot of this stuff. Is like people do it for so many different reasons. And one thing that stood out when you were talking about was like, I wanted people to understand the inner sides of me by displaying it on my body.
Right.
And sometimes it's like, it's not about like, hey, what, my outward appearance. It's maybe like an internal thing to them. They're like tying together a traumatic thing that happened from their past and making like, hey, that happened to me, but it's all right. And it's a bridge between those two gaps.
That's a good way
or
to put it.
it could be like, this is just something that's important to me. It's a symbol of my family. It could be something to remind me of the shitty sides of me, to not be that anymore, or that I am good. I know I'm going to just keep unfolding more of this stuff, but like Aaron, I'd love to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah,
because you sit with people for hours and you know the reason behind why they're doing this permanent mark on their body.
Right, you're right. And I have been doing that for 33 years now, and you learn a lot about it. You know, in the early years, it seemed, my younger clientele, me as a younger tattooer, it seemed like it was just, we wanted to be cool. I think for me, it had a lot to do with growing up in the Catholic Church, seeing the hypocrisy around the Catholic Church, seeing the hypocrisy around certain government policies, seeing the hypocrisy around the school system I was in, just really wanting to put something on my body to attract my tribe.
Yeah.
You know, basically getting, you know, sleeves back when I got them, which by the way, my stuff's not the most awesome stuff. I got this stuff fucking 30 years ago, but I wanted them quick because I wanted to, one, tell anybody who met me, I don't believe in a lot of these systems. If I did, you think I'd have done this? Because I sure as fuck ain't going to work on Wall Street, am I?
Yeah.
That's
sure
what it
as
meant
fuck.
back in the day.
Yeah, that's what
and
it
I
meant.
love that there's a story associated with why you got them quick. Like,
To get that message out.
Because we've all seen your art, and it's insane.
Which I'll get into because it grows from this, right? It starts with that for me, and then also it's a way to meet the others. Like, who else in this bar tonight might have my similar beliefs? Probably that dude with sleeves.
Yeah.
And then we start
community.
chatting, and now he's my friend, and we have similar interests, and we have similar beliefs around culture, society, religion. And so that was me. And then as I start tattooing people, especially large committed projects that take years and cost, you know, 10s or 20 or 40 grand, you know, a lot of money is being spent, a lot of time, a lot of pain. The more intimate healing situations definitely got revealed real quick, you know, and for some, it was just wanting to be a part of the group I was talking about. For others, I mean, an extreme example would be a client I had who was Special Forces, I won't get into all the details of his career, and he never really talked about it too much anyway, but he came to me with one half sleeve, which was shit. My wife's company, Evolve Laser Tattoo Removal, beat that. Well, he had more, and then we finished it anyway, and he wanted a bodysuit, and I tattooed him for 6-7 years, and you know, he was a quiet dude in a lot of ways, but over the course of that time,
You said 6'7", my kids are going to lose their mind because of that. Sorry.
yeah, I still don't get the
I don't
joke.
get it
know what
either,
my
but
kids
he
do it
said
too.
6-7 years, yeah.
And you know, he basically revealed through a lot of innuendos that, look, the guy I see in the mirror is the guy that went to war. The guy I'm going to be looking at in the mirror now ain't that guy. I want to look from the outside. I want to not see that guy. I want to look. So it's almost like he was healing from the outside in.
Yeah.
You know, that was one, you know, story of the healing power of tattoos, you know, and I could give many, many more. There's lots of examples of it. But I do think intrinsically all tattoos have some level of healing. Even the simplest level would be like what I said. I just wanted to let people know I wasn't part of the mainstream group. That was healing for me. It felt good to walk around and know, like, you see me?
Yeah.
I'm not part of that group. And if you're part of that group, I don't know. I'm not going to be rude to you, but we probably aren't going to be the bestest of friends.
Yeah.
I'm looking for people like me to hang out with.
Yeah.
And there's even a therapeutic aspect of just feeling the pain and like getting through that. For some people, it's therapeutic in that they're like, oh, like I can handle this. Because tattoos are painful. Certain parts are like awful. We've all been there. I've been pale, sweaty, and clenching my butthole many times. Like,
Yeah, me too. Yeah, you're right. There's an example to kind of comment on that. Like, I was tattooing a girl who I know had been through a lot of trauma. It's actually, well, maybe fuck it. I mean, she went on. I just
you don't have to say her name.
She dated Jesse James, and you guys might know.
Okay, move on here. Too many.
I know you're talking about.
You know her?
Yeah.
Anyway, she was younger back then, and I learned later about a lot of her trauma.
Yeah.
And of course, what she did beyond in the rest of her life really exposed that the girl was going through some shit. But I'm tattooing her chest, and as I'm tattooing her sternum, I don't know if it's the needles, like in an acupuncture kind of way or what, but out of nowhere, like whatever she was holding in poured out. It wasn't crying from pain. It was, I need to go out back in the parking lot and sob for an hour.
Yeah.
And I could tell she was, you know, fetal position, letting out whatever had happened to her.
And if you've ever done psychedelic therapy, you know that's a thing. They're letting go. I can't find the word right now, but when you're just purging all of the feelings you've been holding down deep down, and
that.
Yeah.
yeah.
And the
Purging.
needles in her specifically her sternum, which I found odd, right above her heart.
Oh.
Who knows if that had anything to do with it? But it. And then I was telling this to a guy. I was just out in Paris doing some interviews for my show, and I was telling that same story, and he said the same thing. This was a tattooer, and he goes, "Had a girl, a lot of trauma, tattooing her right here, broke down, sobbing for an hour."
Wow.
And I'm like, something going on with the pain and where you touch people. It might release or unlock pent up trauma.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, and it helps him too, man. Like I know you're talking about. She's a dope chick, man. She's so I've known her for not super well, been periphery for a long time now, and dude, she's a dope chick. She's so much better now than she used to be.
I haven't heard from her a long time. I liked her back then. She's cool as fuck.
Yeah, she's really cool.
But, you know, she had a lot going on, and it's just an interesting story to your point, how
absolutely.
it can release trauma in various ways. One is your expression that you're coming up with. You express yourself, which helps you maybe work through some of your stuff. Another was the actual pain going through it, and then whatever unlocks when you're dragging needles through people's skin.
Yeah.
And there's just so many ways that it does that. I'm like still like the longer I do this, the more I realize like how therapeutic.
I think it's a form of meditation too. I mean, you just gotta kind of sit with it, and I guess in the way that you would sit with your own thoughts about whatever it is that happened to you, you sit with it, and then there probably is some mechanism that hits with like the physical pain matches the mental pain, and then you're like, oh fuck, now it's coming to a head.
Plus, you have to
see how that would be.
You have to explain to the person like, this is what I want. This is what, maybe not all the reasons why you want it, but it's also like sitting with your barber. That was the first analogy I would use to people of how tattoo therapy was beneficial. I'm like, it's kind of like, going to get your hair done or to your barber, but on steroids. Like, you're making a permanent mark on yourself.
Your barber's on steroids?
I'm on steroids, and if my barber's not, then he's not cutting my hair. Pussy.
I think for me, like, it's most of the tattoos I got weren't necessarily for therapeutic reasons, or maybe they were and I just didn't know it. But for me, I think it's almost like you hear a fucking song and it brings you back to certain times. It's kind of the same shit for me. I mean, obviously, some of these tattoos remind me of specific shit that I went through in the military and other times, but it is kind of fucking weird.
It's like a story you tell on your skin.
Exactly.
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense, man.
Tattoos can definitely be a scrapbook. I can look at these arms, and there's memories I get from each tattoo that I know for a fact I would not remember if I didn't have the tattoo.
Yeah.
And maybe if someone showed me a photograph of but these tattoos were done before, I don't even have pictures of that shit. I remember those moments in my life because I marked my body during it, and I can remember them crystal fucking clear.
Yeah.
There ain't a tattoo on this body. I don't know. I could close my eyes, see where I was, who was tattooing me, what my life was about at the time. So they are a scrapbook. We'll talk about that one a little bit. You like that shit?
That one's getting a photo.
Giant fucking ball sack, fucking shaft.
That's a good story.
Let's
not go there yet.
Cock with wings.
To your point, Tim, though, this idea of you were saying earlier about how being in the pain can be a form of meditation.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about most of the pain that people experience, in my opinion, the majority of pain is created in the voice in our head. Yeah, you can accidentally cut your finger while you're cooking. Yes, you can be in a car accident. Yes, you can get cancer. But if you really add up the average person's life, the acute pain they experience, physical trauma, like something happened, you got beat up at a bar, really usually only represents for most people a very small percentage of the pain you will experience in this life. The majority of the pain you experience in this life is in your head. So you're right. Anything that can put you in the moment, in the fucking brain, shuts the fuck up. It could be surfing, big waves. It could be any kind of sport. It could be when you're getting tattooed. Because when you're being tattooed, guess what turns off? That fucking voice. Because you can't do what you should have done yesterday and what I regret happening. You're just with it, man. You're in the fucking moment.
Dude, it's forced flow state. And it's
that.
It was the first thing that I was thinking when you were saying, like, I don't know, I could just draw and everything would disappear. What you were experiencing when you were a young kid was flow state. And that's a form of therapy.
Yep.
Like you tattooing is your therapy.
Yep.
And we are all hunting for that as human beings.
Yep.
We are all looking to get into a flow state. And one thing I tell like a lot of people, I do a little like performance coaching on the side is like, look, you know, when you're in a bad spot and everything seems like chaos, what you need to do is fall back on something you know, something you're good at, and just dive into it. If you're good at drawing, if you're good at music, if you just like being in nature, like I like to go hike, and I'm in a flow state. I'm like, I know I got to get to this point to the next point, and I don't think about anything else. That's called flow.
Yep.
That is therapy. And in tattooing, when you're getting tattooed, the only thing you can focus on in that point is like, I have to stay still or he's going to make a squiggly line. You have to lock into you're forced to lock into the flow state. So there has to be, my theory is that's where the therapy is coming from.
That's a good point too, because there's an element of control. Like you have to force yourself to control your emotions and your physical self in order to like not, get fucked up.
Flow state happens in the moment. When you're being tattooed, you're not thinking about all the things you got to do tomorrow, and you're not thinking about the things you fucked up yesterday. Maybe for brief moments when I'm not tattooing you and you go to take a piss, some of that voice comes back in. But when it's going down and I'm on your kneecap, you are not thinking about that shit. And that is a weird, and I don't think people realize, because they'll say to me, I don't know what it is, man, but I have a really stressful life, and I look forward to these appointments when you grind ink into my rib cage. And I'm like, that's counterintuitive. Like, you already have a difficult life. Why on your only day off would you want to lay here on a scale of 1 to 10, I could probably put it at a fucking 9. That shit is nasty. It hurts like on another. If you've ever had deep work done,
that was my first one.
It's real pain, man. But that's I think what they're saying. I'm gonna have an opportunity today to shut this fucking voice off. I need it. It talks to me all day, and just start poking me, man. Thank you.
That's wild, dude.
Well, it's weird too when you first.
That's why
sit
I like
in the
to be
chair.
choked. It's the only way I can finish.
when you first sit in this fucking chair, the first 20 minutes, I know there's some kind of physical something that has to do with the way your endorphins and shit start to be released and all this shit, but it's like the first 20 minutes you're just like, especially on a rib cage or lower back or a fucking shin or
if you take a break.
That's too long a break.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. And then, I almost feel like, you can't time it 20 minutes to the fucking thing, but you get to a point where it's like, okay, now my body has started kicking in some fucking, maybe it's adrenaline or whatever the fuck it is, where, okay, it's
adjusted to it.
You've adjusted to it. Now it's like, okay, your mind is still concentrating on getting through that pain and that, it is like a meditative state to some respect. And I don't know, man. I haven't had any fucking ink in a good long while. Like maybe
this conversation is making me want more.
I know, it's fucking weird, man. Like
Dude, don't you usually finish your podcast with inking somebody?
We did that we still do it occasionally, but I don't know. It was pretty time consuming.
It's a lot.
It was like 7-hour podcast days.
Oh wow,
yeah.
I started doing this fucking dragon on my fucking leg. Laura Crow was doing this fucking, and it, dude. It's a lot of real estate on a fucking leg.
Especially your legs.
Yeah,
you got a big ass leg. Man, I'm just like, and then you get up in here, you're like, God damn, that shit fucking hurts, man. Like, and it just got to a point where you're just like, fuck, man, I don't really want to book another appointment. But then it's weird though, because now I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, I kind of want to finish this fucking tattoo, and like, you think back of times when you were getting inked quite frequently, and it's like it is like a release.
So, I mean, I don't look forward to a lot of my workouts, to be honest with you. They're miserable, some of them, but I look forward to the feeling I'm going to get after it, and I know that's coming. And tattoos are a lot like that too. It's a big release, but it's on a different level, man. It's permanent. Like, I know I have to show up to the gym next week I'm going to get there.
Yeah, all that is true. And back to your point about the first 20 minutes, two things happen after 20 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever. People always do chill a bit. And it's two things. One, your endorphins do release. And I think the body has a way of like, okay, let's cope with this new trauma that's happening, and somehow the pain dissipates. But a secondary thing, which is probably the bigger component, is just like, I mean, getting tattooed is how people live their lives. You can resist. What you resist will persist. So I got the client who's going to fight for 4 hours. I am not accepting what's happening, and that pain never subsides for those people. And if you get to know that person, you'll hear them doing it in their marriage. You'll hear them doing it in their careers. They are just going to they're not willing to give in. They're not willing to maybe flow with a particular moment. Like, as much as I want things to be a certain way right now, it's pretty obvious to me it's not going my way.
It's like prison sex.
I'm just going to let this happen. It'll be over with soon.
I'm not going to back into it. I'm going to fight it.
But it is a lesson.
Nobody's finishing.
If you can sit through large, painful tattoos and get into that non-resistant stage where you aren't clutching your jaw anymore, acceptance. You're just going, I'm here. Nothing I can do. Nothing I can do is going to change what's happening. Breathe and accept it. Pain goes down by 30% immediately. And you can take that into life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I was going to say, because I know we're all, entrepreneurs here and like doing our own thing, and like I know for me personally, that's been the hardest thing I've ever done. It's way harder than being a SEAL. And sometimes it can feel like you just wake up and you're like, dude, who's gonna punch me in the fucking face today while I'm getting my balls stomped in? And it's just like, so you
got to go to a different tattoo artist.
But I mean,
get your balls out of the vice, bro.
But everything's hard, man. But I think if you can learn to accept the things that you can't change, you can't do anything about, there's a certain amount of like, I don't want to say release to it, but it releases a lot of the pressure when you realize, hey, there's certain problems that like I cannot do anything about, so I just don't worry about it. And you just accept it, and you're like, okay, cool. I'm gonna move on. I'm gonna focus on the things that I can control within that moment, and then there gives you a certain amount of peace to it. When in a chaotic environment and in a fucking just volatile life in general, you need those small moments of peace and being accepting of those moments where you can't do anything about it, and just letting go is fucking.
I mean, you're talking about enlightenment at this point. And, we all touch enlightenment. I've had moments where I probably acted just like the Buddha for 5 minutes. But how long can you hold that state? And that's why they call it a practice, right? Because if we could hold it 24 hours a day, you'd probably vaporize and become like a fucking ascended soul or something.
You'd be God.
You'd be God at that point, right? So we're down here practicing that. And life is so happy to give us plenty of things to practice on. Challenges and things we don't like, and difficult relationships and difficult business outcomes. And every day we get this beautiful training course to learn this skill. And in that way, maybe you could even start looking at some of these challenges as gifts. Like thank you, 100%. Saying thank you to the challenges. Exactly. I know. And I've done that. I'm not bragging. I don't do that all the time. I'm not saying I do, but I do aspire to maybe do that more.
Yeah. That's part of the symbolism that we put on ourselves too, is we're like, thank you for this challenge. I'm recognizing it, that's a part of me, and accepting it. That's therapeutic in itself too. Yeah.
I love it. You guys want to take a quick break?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I got to piss. Damn.
Wipers!
What do we want to jump into after this?
So we talked about some stuff earlier, and so we're back. And
all right. Let's do it.
I'll tell a quick little pro-vigil story, though. Me and Tage are going out to do this commercial out in the desert, out by Fort Irwin. And, dude, I'm, like, falling asleep. We had to be out there, like, balls early, like, before the sun even comes up. And I'm driving. I'm, like doing touch and goes. And he's like, here, take one of these. It's pro-vigil. I'm like, I'll take a half, bro. I'll take a half. Nothing. Take another one. Like, still. And, dude, this is after, like, drinking, like, a rock star. And we're drinking coffee and shit. And, like... I'm like, dude, these things are fucking garbage, bro. He gives me another one. I take another one. And, dude, by the time we get there, I'm like white knuckling the fucking, just like,
I'm so fucking ready.
Oh, dude, I'm like, half the fucking seat sucked up my ass. I'm just like, so maybe give yourself some space in between taking a lot of that shit. But what we were talking about on the break, so talking about how, like, first of all, how technology has changed in, like,
Oh, yeah.
tattooing and different guns. Like I had this memorial tattoo for my dad when he died in 2022. My two brothers flew out to New Mexico where I was filming a movie out there, or a show, and I was talking to Aaron about how the dude was using this gun, and it wasn't a standard like rotary. It wasn't a standard what's the
coil. We call them coil machines, the ones that make the noise. Bzzz, that's a coil machine.
So he had this gun, and dude, he literally screwed something onto the fucking back of it. I don't know if it was a solenoid or some shit. I don't know what the fuck it was.
That was probably the grip. It was a rotary, and that was probably the grip.
Yeah, and but dude, my one brother Sean, who had no tattoos at the time, he got my dad's memorial tattoo on his arm, right on the inner arm, like that. I'm like, bro, that's gonna fucking hurt.
It's a good one to start with. Yep.
You know. And then my other brother, who has tattoos, he got same tattoo on his outer arm, and then I got the only place I really had left was down here on my foot or on my ankle. And I got done, and I was like, dude, I'm like, shit didn't fucking hurt at all, you know, after me telling my brother, because I remember getting these, and that shit fucking hurt. I thought, you know, but
so why? Okay, why? We hear this a lot, and I have a few things I'll say about this. And first of all, a coil machine, how it works is there's magnets in there. Those two coils you see.
Yeah.
What happens is those magnets turn on. There's a piece of steel above there. So when they turn on, it sucks that piece of steel down to the top of the magnet. When that piece of steel comes down, we call that the armature bar, hits the magnet, there's another little piece of steel that breaks that connection, which turns off that magnet. There's a spring on the back of that piece of steel. So when the magnet turns off, that spring flicks it back up. Then that connection hits. It turns the magnet back on, which sucks the steel down. The connection breaks, which springs back up. So this is a coil machine.
Beautiful cycle.
Would you say?
Is it electromagnetic then?
Electromagnetic, okay. Yes, electromagnets, exactly. So that needs to be understood if you're going to get into this pain discussion on the debate between rotaries and coil machines. A rotary machine takes a circular motor that's turning in circles, puts it on a cam, a gear that turns that circular motion into an up and down motion. So if you visualize this in your mind, what you could see in your mind's eye is the rotary machine is moving at the needle's traveling down and up at the exact same pace. It's not going faster up or down. It's like a tractor, I call it, just steady tractor. It goes down, it pierces the skin, it releases back up, it goes down, it pierces the skin. An electromagnetic machine, a coil machine, is more like, I describe it more like a whip, because when that magnet turns on, that armature bar slaps down.
The velocity of it, yeah.
Exactly. And the power from that movement kind of transfers down the needle bar out the tip of the needle, like cracking the end of a whip, like, which makes them really effective.
It's violent.
It can be. It can, well, both can be violent if they're used incorrectly. But the coil machine, from that perspective, could be argued to be more painful because you're getting the snap of the whip at each delivery point, where the rotary is tractoring it in, much like hand poke tattoos. When you see Japanese guys hand poking, that mimics more of a rotary. They enter the skin, they exit the skin. They enter the skin, they exit the skin. But where, again, the electromagnetic machine is whipping it in. Snap, 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 snap.
It's like snap, like snapping your fists together
like
when you're
rubber band, just snap, snap, snap. But you can also take a coil machine, and you could just take the tip of that needle and graze right across the skin without much depth. Because that whip is happening, it'll fire the ink down to the depth you need it. Where a rotary, you got to get that depth correct, so the needles really have to penetrate to the depth you need to get that ink where it needs to be. Ultimately, I think they're both, if you really wanted to hash this out long enough, probably going to be similar in pain, because the fact of the matter is you have to get ink 2 layers beneath the dermis for it to stay and be where it needs to be. And that's going to create a sensation. I don't care if you're whipping it in or if you're tractoring it in, similar. But there's another component. The electromagnetic machines make the noise. kind of like the dentist when he's drilling on your teeth, or just the sound of a tattoo machine going, yeah. And we've got some new ones that are out, these Dan Cubans, which are so effective, but they're even louder. I mean, they're like fucking, when the tattooer turns it on, like people start sweating just hearing the fucking thing. It's like,
that is the thing. It's like Pavlov's dog.
that.
Yeah.
Whereas a rotary is silent.
Yeah.
So as soon as I switched to rotary, all my clients said, man, these things don't hurt as much. And I don't think that was actually true. I think they were just so relieved to not hear the grinding of a, you know.
Well, here's a question on that. It might be too into the weeds. Like, say you have an older client that wants to get a tattoo. What are you going to choose? Because, so like, you know, for instance, we just had Patriotic Kenny. He got his first tattoo at 84 years old. And one of the biggest things that Joey was worried about is like, was this thing going to blow out? Because his skin is, it is what it is. It's older.
He's got crepey skin.
Yeah. So is there a difference between like blasting the ink in there versus placing the ink in there with the needle mechanically?
Either blowouts are a huge concern in tattooing, especially with outlining. If you don't get your depth right, and you don't get your power right, and you don't get all these things right, your needles go too deep into the skin, or if the whip is too powerful, it'll blast deeper than we need to go, and it'll fog out left and right. So you'll get that black line with a fog on either side. That's called a blowout, and they can get fucking dramatic. You go over a collarbone with the wrong depth or the wrong power setting. I mean, you can have a line as thick as a pencil line with a fucking like a magic marker on each side. So over shin bones and kneecaps, this is. But to answer your question, that blowout problem he's discussing on that crepey skin can happen with either machine if used incorrectly.
Okay.
But definitely, I would adjust my rotary in a certain way for that guy's skin, and a guy with a coil machine should probably be as. He would adjust in a new way as well. You would test it. You would come in real light, wipe, see what it did, kind of like customize for that type of skin. But it can happen with either machine.
I think definitely comes with experience.
Well, that's where ultimately all this stuff ends up,
Testing on the foreskin before.
That's why I'm growing out my foreskin.
Lightsabers.
Like a reverse mullet.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's pretty crazy. And also, talking about the culture, how culture has changed. I mean, you look at people now in terms of having you have people in boardrooms and shit that take off their fucking jacket and probably sleeved up. It's not even if you're not. It's not even looked down upon as much as it was even in the 90s. Andrew
Huberman is covered.
Yeah.
He's one of the most brilliant minds of our time.
That's like one of those weird things that was kind of my thinking whenever I got my second tattoo on my forearm. I was like, well, it's still inner arm, but then it got to a point where I'm like, okay, full upper arm, back, and then I was like, okay, I'm doing the nesty plunge before I actually kind of went below the elbow here with this sugar skull, and then started getting wrist, got my kids' names and stuff like that. But it's like one of those weird things where I'd been in the Navy at like 15 years at that point. It was like, I mean, what am I going to get out and become a day trader?
Yeah, and there's dudes at Chipotle working right now with hand tattoos, Dude, with like one hand tattoo, like a swing tattoo.
Yeah.
Come on. Oh, man, it's just different.
What's the wildest spot you've had to tattoo someone?
Yeah, those are always fun ones. Well,
starfish.
I'll go back to Avalon. I don't know, how do I start this story? So
this is a good one.
we would get the occasional. Females too, but I'll tell the male version of this story. Guys coming in wanting dick tats, and I worked with all dudes except for Patty, the owner, but she was never around. It was me and all the bros, and the immediate gut reaction from the bros is, I'll fucking touch no one's dick. I'm not a faggot.
I was a medic. I did. That's a lot of dicks.
So did Patty not tattoo?
Well, she did, but by the time I got into that shop, She tattooed, but she
more
was
managerial.
She'd been an owner for a long time. She'd been tattooing 20 years. She was flying around doing stuff, and she was around.
Right. Okay.
And she was never there when these dick jobs came through. I don't know what she would have said. My thought is she probably would have done it because she's pretty wild that way. Like, fuck, I'll tattoo your dick. She's cool like that. Like, she didn't have that judgment stuff. And I have always had this part in me of like, I like to be a contrarian, you know, like, and I didn't like the idea around like, and I used to look at the dudes. I'm like, so you're afraid if you grab a guy's dick, you might put it in your mouth? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Because I can grab a guy's dick, I can put a tattoo on it, and it won't go in my mouth.
Still, why not? It's gross.
Yeah. So I don't know what your fucking problem is. So why
is it getting so hard?
I got that story too.
Oh man.
Kinda. But so, just to be that guy, I did a few of those dick tattoos, and these dudes were cool. They were cool. They were bros. They wanted a joke tat. They weren't gay. They weren't trying to fuck the tattooer. They just wanted a funny tattoo in their dick that they could pull out at a bar,
like a lightsaber.
Dude, this kind of dick jokes are funny.
Dick jokes are funny. Fart jokes are funny. I liked it. I supported it. I was like, fuck yeah, I'll put that on.
I could never do it.
Yeah,
well, that's kind of fucking. I would think a dick tattoo would not feel.
I have a dick tattoo.
Does it hurt?
Well, yeah.
What do you compare it to another place of your body getting tattooed?
How do you stretch?
I mean, it's kind of.
There's so many questions.
It is kind of fatty, but at the same time, it's where the sun don't shine. So it's.
I put it right in the middle. I mean, mine's on the shaft. I don't know what the head of the dick. I wonder that might have a different.
Small area.
I had a friend of mine when I was living in Havasu at the time after I dropped out of high school. I went to Havasu to go be a jet ski
fluffer.
Fluffer, yeah. I did strip at a bachelorette party one time there. But I was hanging out with this group of guys.
Were the guys happy? Oh, you said bachelor.
Ryan was there, so yes.
And so this dude, it was a bunch of interesting cats, man. And one of the guys had just got out of prison, and he was, I think I was 17, so he must have been like 19. We're roughly the same age. And he had a bunch of tattoos. A lot of them, because he's right-handed, he did it himself, so he was just tattooing himself in like a prison-style gun with like a tape recorder and shit. But he had tattooed, or he'd started to tattoo a smiley face on the end of his dick, and he said that he got through like the smile part of it, and then one eye. He's like, bro, that's it. I can't fucking do it anymore. So he's got a pirate smiley face on his dick now.
Fucking hell. On the head of his dick.
On the head, yeah.
Oh,
I never checked, but I'm assuming it's
liar.
Want to see my bulkhead?
To answer your question, Tim, the logistics of tattooing a dick, how I would do it, we have arm rests that if you lay down and get an arm tattoo, we'll prop them under your arm, we'll lay you back. I had the dude stand. These were small little joke tats, so they weren't like, you're going to be here for an hour. I did one job like that, and we did it differently. But you grab a flaccid fucking penis by the head, you pull that fucker out, you smash it down across that fucking armrest. Now you've got this flat little pancake dick, and you do it, and then you let go, and
wish for the best.
And wish for the best, because you are dealing with skin. It's one thing to like, what's going to happen with my tat when I put on? I'm gonna be working out a lot, and I want to know what's going to happen to all the guys.
There's a lot of considerations here. Is he circumcised? Is he not? There's a lot of skin down there. Even if you're not
the ones I'm recalling were not or were circumcised. I only did like 4.
They were Israelites.
You put a yarmulke on that thing?
It's a pain in the ass. It's
a pain in the dick.
It's a pain in the dick. My dick tattoo career sort of ended, me doing dick tattoos with this particular instance. Well, and I probably would still do one if it was a friend and it felt funny to me. I'd probably still do one. But I kind of at Avalon started going when they would come in. I'm like, I don't want to deal with
dicks,
it. It's a pain in the ass. It takes a long time. You don't make any more money. I'd rather just tattoo. I got people waiting for real tattoos. Why the fuck am I going to dick around with you?
I mean, literally. I mean, the amount of time it takes to set up and prep, and then the actual tattoo takes like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah,
and then you have to break everything back down. You're pissing away an hour of tattooing time.
There's no financial upside to it.
Yeah.
I did it to make a point.
Yeah.
But I was making
dicking
that
around.
point one day, and this is where I got my first creep vibes. He's like, "Hey, you mind if I take a picture of you doing my tattoo?" And I was like, "Sure." And he gets out a Polaroid and he just starts firing off shot after shot after shot after shot after shot. And he never said anything, but my intuitive in me, I felt it. I was like, "Oh, you're going to go home and jack off to me touching your dick."
Jesus.
So this is we just entered a new category. This is a sexual experience for you.
Yeah.
Me, the ones I'd done before were cool dudes like us who were just like, "Oh, I'm going to put this on my dick." I did a Guinness logo on this dude from England. He's like, "I'm going to show
the
my
harp."
No, there's there's an ostrich, old one. It's an ostrich, and in the neck is a pint glass.
Oh, yeah.
And he wanted that on his shaft, and he was going to win drinks off his mates at the bar with this tattoo. I'm like, this is fucking great. I'm in. He
pretty
went to
funny,
my
yeah.
house that
That's
night.
hilarious.
We partied. It was fucking awesome.
That's right.
It was funny, yeah. But this dude took it to like, that.
Yeah.
that
But
was
there
my
are a
new
lot
deal.
of people that are into
that's fucking weird.
erotic mutilation. So like I had patients even while I was at Sockham. There's this guy his name was Ulysses, and everybody knew he would just shove stuff up there because he loved the nurses taking it out.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
This is a team guy?
No, it was just some random patient at Tampa General Hospital.
Oh.
I went through the Army
Yeah,
18
yeah,
Delta
yeah.
thing. Yeah.
People are
And
so
Ulysses
weird,
would come in like once a week with something weird up his dick hole.
What a
He just,
fucking
he
weirdo.
just
Did he
liked getting it. He liked the experience
Did
of
he
it.
explain it, or he's like, "No, I just want you to take it"?
No, we all knew. He'd be sitting there smirking like, take it out.
What a fucking weirdo. You got any
Yeah.
pictures?
You want his number?
At a certain point, you'd be like, "Oh, you're on your own, man."
Yeah.
Well, everybody was annoyed, so they just let him sit there with like a mechanical pencil up his dick hole
What the
for like an hour and a
fuck,
half.
dude?
Like,
God.
fuck you, dude.
Bro, there are better ways to get attention. Holy
I'm gonna
shit.
pull this thing out like I'm starting a lawnmower.
God, people
Yeah,
are
that's
so
some
weird,
fucking
man.
crazy shit.
There's people that are into that shit. That's
What about,
Yeah.
obviously, I would imagine, or I don't know. I don't know that it would be different, but if you're tattooing, say, some chick's hoo-ha down there,
oh yeah.
but then at the same time, it's not like you're getting any sexual gratification out of this. It's not like you're getting
Yeah.
to second base with some fucking chick when you're tattooing her clam. But at the same time, it's not looking at some dude's fucking foreskin on your armrest of your fucking tattoo chair either, you know?
What's the question?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us about the times where it did work out.
You lost me at bearded clam.
It sounds like it always worked out.
We got a smile out of K over there, right?
Dude, I always wanted to get the fucking Cadillac logo, like in my fucking pubic area. It said "nice ride," and dude, my wife was like, "If you ever fucking do that shit, I'll love you till the day." No, I'm just kidding.
I'll start buying Fords.
Yeah. Anybody that knows my wife knows that she would never say anything like that. But yeah, I think Nick just got a. Didn't Nick?
He
just
did,
Get a
yeah.
Cadillac
He just got
tattoo?
the Cadillac. He worked some other stuff into it too. It was actually pretty cool. The
Yeah, he's got his
Yeah.
own logo in there.
Yeah, I'm a bad friend. I don't remember exactly all the symbolism that was worked into it, but
One
It's his-
is like
it's his
the
brand
sniper,
and shit, yeah.
Army
Yeah.
sniper logo, and then something else. Oh, his
Yeah.
what's his business?
Crypto?
maybe
Crypto.
Strategic,
Crypto, the sniper logo that Joe Church did with the rat and the.
Oh, I thought it was an S with like an
It's the
arrow
S,
or something.
yeah.
And then his other one's a bird with an arrow, right?
That's the crypto symbol.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah, it looks
Nick,
good.
we're not doing you justice. It looked dope. He was actually going to have Joey do it while he was out here, but it didn't work
Who's
out.
Joey?
The guy we had on.
Joey Hamilton
Oh, last
and
week.
C's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You weren't here for that. Yeah.
Or week before last. Right on. I was in Austin.
But
Right on.
yeah, he just got that done. His buddy actually does a lot of videography and cinematography stuff, but he also like does tattooing. So just show up to your house and tattoo you.
So,
Ryan.
weird question. I guess kind of what I was leading to before with the question is there a level of additional, like added expense? like automatically, like somebody come in and like, yeah, I want my fucking dick tattooed. You're like, dude, that's an
Extra
extra
$200.
That's
Yeah.
a $200 upsell, or even if it's a, I do realize you were saying you were doing these dick tattoos like fucking 30 years ago or 25 years ago
Are
or whatever.
you even
But
at that point where you would even accept it?
well, more so like any female that comes in is like, hey, I want this tattoo here, and do you, depending on body part areas and specific stuff, do you add additional?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
So,
know what you're saying.
yeah.
I mean, first of all, where I'm at now, this doesn't come up really ever. I mean, yeah, if I'm doing a bodysuit and, we're covering your body, like, I've never done a bodysuit that included the dick, but you get really close.
Yeah.
Or if I'm doing a female large project, they want it to really get down in there nearby.
Yeah.
It's just part of this larger piece of art.
Yeah.
A person coming in just saying, I just want this thing on my vagina, or I just want this thing on my dick. We don't see that a lot at my shops.
Sure.
I don't see it for me
You're not
personally.
doing $25 fucking flash tattoos on a fucking Friday.
But if that came up, I would just go hourly. It's just like, look, you want to get your vagina tattooed? I don't know what this is going to, that tattoo you're looking at, I know on your arm would take me 45 minutes. I could price you a flat rate right now. But on your vagina, I don't know. We might be here for 2 hours. I don't know what's going to happen. So we're going to go hour to hour. It's this much an hour. And if we're here all day, we're here all day. If we're here for an hour, we're here for an hour. Do it like that. So the upcharge would happen naturally if it took longer, which it probably will if you're digging around down there trying to manipulate
Squirming around.
Yeah, and just
Squirting.
the skin itself. You got to wipe up all that.
Oh God.
Famunda.
Oh, all right.
Like, when's the last time you showered, girl or guy? Did I misgender you? Did I misgender you while I'm tattooing your clams?
Probably pretty clear at that point.
Well, you never know.
I hope it's clear. So probably doing a 180 here. What's the process like then for someone who does want to do a multi-joint piece? Like what?
Large format. We call it large format tattooing.
I'm sure you get people that are like, that have no idea what they're doing when they come into it. And then...
Yeah, I mean, I think for most people that have been doing it a long time like I have, it's pretty simple. I can look at, you want a leg sleeve. I can look at your leg if you want all color or black and gray. I can pretty much give you an hourly estimate. I know that on an average size guy, full leg sleeve with high concentration color is going to take me between 30 hours and 40 hours of needle to skin. You're paying me hourly. So my rate is $300 an hour.
God damn.
So it's, whatever, do the
Fucking
math.
awesome,
It's $9,000 to $12,000.
Yeah.
Straight up. And good luck beating it. I know how fast I am, and you're not going to.
Exactly.
You're splitting hairs
That's
at that
actually
point.
a really good deal.
Which you get what you pay for. I got a buddy of mine. He used to. Well, Tommy Crimmins. He said he would go into this fucking what we were just talking about before, $25, piece of fucking flash, and he said he was at this tattoo shop in New England somewhere, and you get a couple bikers in there, arguing over, like, oh, I want this piece of flash, but can you do it for 15 instead of 25?
Oh,
and the guy was like,
no.
yeah, absolutely. So he just fucks their tattoo all up. I'm going to do this as fast as I can to get, whatever my rate is. And, and this is like in the fucking 70s or 80s probably. But Crimmins is like, I want this piece of flash, but dude, I'll pay your full rate and I'll tip you. Just make it good. Right. And the guy's like, oh yeah, no problem. So it's like,
you can cut
get
corners
what you
on some
pay
things,
for.
but like, this is not something. I'm not trying to
I
get.
don't want to nickel and dime a tattoo artist
Right.
for something that's going to be on your body for the fucking rest of your fucking
I'm not
life,
trying to
dude.
get budget shit. No, thanks.
That was the other thing too. I had to impress upon like dudes, because like being an SQT, I would have students that come like, "Hey, where can I go to get a tattoo?" And I'm like, and I would give them a handful of fucking names, and we're like, "Okay, well, a lot of people are, months out. Some people are like, hey, man, you can go to shops and walk right in, but then you get to the point where you feel like you're giving advice, but you want to give good advice, and it's like the dudes would come back on like Friday or come back up from a Friday. It's Monday. We're like, hey, like, check out my new tattoo, and you're like, it's like, you fucking dumbass. First of all, we're diving this whole week.
Yeah, in the bay.
In the bay.
Gross ass water.
Or dudes would like get some, like a skull with a top hat or some shit, some fucking just weird tattoo where you're like, where the fuck did you come up with this idea? We're like, no, we all got the same tattoo, and it's like center of their chest, or you're just like, oh, like that's when I started giving advice to classes that would come in. I would give a little tattoo brief. I'm like, hey, listen, guys, like, wait until after graduation to get your fucking tattoos.
There's no rush, man.
Yeah,
there's no rush,
and actually do some research. Seek out a good art, like somebody that is going to let you walk in and do a fucking, a significant piece. Like, make sure you've seen some of their work, like a fucking brag book of ink. It's like, okay, that looks good, and find out exactly how old some of these pictures are, and if it's for sure their shit.
Yeah, and sometimes people ask for wacky stuff, man. Aaron, have you ever declined a tattoo where you're like, bro, I'm just not. This is just like a dumb idea, or like something you're like, I'm just not about that.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, my rule's simple. It's I don't do tattoos that echo hate. Yeah, it's pretty much my rule. You got some tattoo, and I can tell the vibe behind it is like hatred. It's fine. Go get it. I don't want.
You don't want to be a part of it.
No, I don't want to be a part of that. So that's my rule. But each tattooer is welcome to set up their own set of parameters. It's totally, back to your point about good tattoos, bad tattoos. With my history in tattooing and my history with my shops, I don't have a lot of I do have some crazy stories, and I probably could shuffle out a few more that happened accidentally, but my shops just don't attract those people because we become such a place like to go to where people know, like, if you're really into this and you want the high quality work, this is one of the places you can get it. So we end up just with this real normal folk that are really interested in the art. But I will defend shitty tattoos to the day I die. Like, I am 100% cool with them. I've got them. I will get more of them. Tattoos. I love great tattoos too. I love art. I have great tattoos from famous tattooers, but I also like driving a snowmobile to the top of a mountain and letting my son tattoo a fucking dick on me. Like,
okay, that's badass.
So and one of my favorite tattoos, by the way.
Yes,
my son did this tattoo.
That's cool.
We closed our eyes. We had half a bottle of one of those bottles, and he did that. I opened my eyes, and then it was my turn, and I did mine. And he has his, and I have mine, and they're horrible. And it's like, they're horrible.
That's funny.
But is it one of my favorite tattoos? Is it one of the tattoos I look at and fucking it makes me smile every time I see it? And yet I've got other tattoos that cost me $10,000. And I love them, but they don't make me smile like that one does. So I've never been, like, a lot of folks that know me think I would hate that, or I would hate a tattooer that did that, or I would be hateful towards a person who wanted to have that type of experience. And my answer is I am not. Like, get fucking buck wild. Get a regrettable tattoo. They're hilarious.
So that's
get your girlfriend's name and then get it covered up. That's a funny tattoo.
Fucking one line.
I turned this word Beth into oops. That's my first wife. I love that tattoo. My new wife, who I've been with for 26 years, laughs when she sees it. They're not. I just don't think tattoos are as serious as people sometimes go to make them out to be. When you think about life on a bigger scale, when I think about my spiritual beliefs, when I think about the things that I think are really important, yes, if you want good tattoos, take your time and get one. If you want to be buck wild and just get some silly, dumb shit, get that too. If you need laser treatment in 5 years, go get your laser treatment. If you need to cover, like, I'm cool with all of it. I just service one sector of that, but I don't have any emotions towards all the other ways of getting it done. It's fine. They're just tattoos, man.
Experience matters.
I do think that is a really awesome way of looking at it, because I've gotten some stupid shit, like this one, beat it, nerd.
That's a rad tattoo. I'm like, I love that.
People are like, oh my god, that's such a fucking awesome tattoo. And then, but then, like, I'll get somebody like, ooh, look, well,
What does it mean?
What does it mean? Like
beat
it
it,
fucking
nerd.
means beat it, nerd. Like, what do you mean? What does it mean?
It's not
Just like-
layered.
Yeah, just
It means I don't
dick
like
and
people
butt,
who
just
ask that
I mean,
question.
There's so many. There's so many fucking tattoos that. For me, yes, it means something significant to me. I know exactly where I was sitting, what day it was when I got that tattoo, and what the circumstances surrounding all that shit was. Same as, I have my daughter's name on my arm with a fucking heart and a crown, and I have my son's name, all these different fucking things that mean something significant to me. So when somebody comes up to me like, well, I mean, if you're going to get a tattoo, it should mean something. It's going to be on your body for the rest of your life. I'm like,
Thanks, nerd.
maybe.
Yeah, whatever.
Yes and no.
Maybe not.
But
I could get counter-rotating props on my fucking ass cheeks.
it could be a reminder of who you were back then and how you're not and how you've grown out of that. And then it also back to, I don't think it's permanent because it's not. We can do a lot of laser treatment and we can cover things up nowadays.
Yeah, or I
But
could just
also,
have the word camel tattooed on my toe.
I just I just rock a moose knuckle
on your knuckle
because I can't help it. They don't make jeans man size anymore. Anyways, back. I just think that there's there's a lot of therapy too in the aspect of just fucking being like, yo, this is a part of me. This is my past, and accepting that, and you memorialize that on yourself, and you don't forget that's where I was and where I am now. But then there's also stuff like if you get a swastika tattooed on your fucking forehead, you're not going to be like, well, that's who I used to be.
Yeah, there's a limit.
You have
Poquito
to,
mas.
and there is a limit, but at the same time, people grow out of that too. Like maybe you were a full-blown neo-Nazi piece of shit, and you do need that thing removed and then covered up later. But it's still a reminder, like tattoos in that sense. Like, I guess what I'm getting at here is they can be used in the wrong way. And that's why that was a cool question to ask. Like, what do you decline? And you were like, hate. I'll never do anything like that. And that, I mean, it just says a lot about you as a person.
But I fully support somebody getting a hateful tattoo. Because guess what? That journey of getting that tattoo and maybe living the life of the hate it represents to the day he dies will be a lesson in some way for that human. I know that.
Yeah.
Or the laser removal of that tattoo and the cover of that tattoo will be a perfect part of his journey in hindsight.
Exactly.
I'm not going to do the tattoo, but I would never tell you not to get it.
Yeah.
If you need that swastika on your forehead, go down the street, find someone to do it. I wouldn't get it. I wouldn't do it. To me, this gets back to such a more core thing about getting inside someone else's life journey. The idea when you can tell somebody what they should or should not be doing. Now, there are hard lines. You can't rape my children. You can't break into my home. You can't. There are lines that we all know. If they were crossed, we would take right action.
Right.
But when you get into that place of telling somebody what they should or should not do with their time, their money, their body, I think that's I don't go there. And I think it's also a representation of one of the major problems that we have on our planet right now. When you look at the world wars, when you look at all the problems out there, it's usually somebody thinking the others should live a certain way.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so really, you could
whether it be government or religion.
Could be either of those, and we can go into more topics. But as soon as you my rule is simple. Look, anyone can do anything they want as long as it doesn't hurt someone else.
Exactly.
Period.
Yeah.
And I think we don't got to get any more complicated than that.
Yeah.
So,
and we all have our own journeys and our own paths to walk, man. And some people have different lessons to learn in life, and sometimes it's getting a fucking regrettable tattoo or something that's going to set you up to have experiences that you're going to need in your life to fucking change course.
There you go.
And who are we to say, hey man, that's your path to walk. That's between you and God or fate, the universe, whatever the fuck you want to call it. That's your path to walk. And none of us can say that's the wrong path. All we can say is that's not for me.
Yep. 100% agreed. And in my, my world, the tattoo world, I preach this a lot because craftsmen get into, everyone can get into this state of mind, but craftsmen, especially high-end tattooers, high-end craftsmen, can get into a very judgy place where they're now telling people what you should or should not do for a tattoo. And to me, it's like, never ever say that. Say what you do. What you do is fine. What they should or should not do, that's on them, between them and God, them and the universe, them and their journey. Again, as long as you're not crossing the line of hurting others, and we're not talking about hurting others. We're talking about, I want a fucking whatever on my
Symbolism.
body.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Then go get that.
A clan hood.
Go get your clan tat, bro.
Yeah.
Go see how that works out for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You got some lessons to learn. No big deal. Yeah. So I think it's interesting. We touched on a little bit earlier about your path, opening Guru, and then being so long in the industry and seeing kind of the progression of American culture, tattoo culture, and kind of how all these things have evolved and changed. Can you walk us through a little bit? You touched on a few of those stories in the beginning of like how tattoo culture was different when you first started Guru, and it sounded like there were some like pretty interesting challenges with that.
Yeah. Well, when I started Guru, some of the old guard, a lot of them are still around, and respect, more power to them. I mean, hell, I'll go further by saying thank you to a lot of those folks. I mean, tattooing came into culture as a extreme stigma. Who else was going to usher it in other than gangsters? Other than Hell's Angels. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would extend that to say thank you. Thank you. The pioneers. Thank you. Yeah. But the industry went on TV. The Renaissance started. High-end tattooing happened. I know a lot of those folks that handed us this craft or at least brought it into the main stage were not happy about it because it meant the end of their journey in tattooing, because now everybody wants badass, really high-end artwork, and a lot of these guys were not equipped to do it. And of course, you've got some friction there, and I was a part of that friction. I was there during the transition. So you've got old guard tattooers that see the new guard coming in. They know what this means. That means possibly the end of our livelihood, and they aren't happy. So, when I opened Guru, there were some moments that I had to have some sit downs and some discussions with people that
on the seedier side of things.
Yeah, I got lucky. I had tattooed some folks that I think I'd earned their respect through those experiences. I'd made some friends with those folks, and when it came down to the wire with me, they put in a good word, and I squeaked through in my own way.
Cool.
Yeah.
And thank you to the person that put the pressure on me. Thank you to the person who helped me get through it. And
stuck their neck out for you.
Yeah.
Relationships are everything, man. I think when you're younger, you don't really realize the power or the importance of those things. But now looking back, and we're all, you're 54, 52, 48. How old are you now?
37.
37?
Oh, baby.
Baby over there. Yeah. But, dude, I did not think about those things when I was younger. I was like, dude, I have a purpose. I'm driven. I have goals. I'm doing this. And I was oblivious or ignorant of a lot of the value in the relationships, and thankfully I didn't burn many bridges, but a lot of those relationships I'm so thankful now that I have known Kevin for on and off for almost 20 years now, I think, and now I have a lot of people, a lot of my best friends I've known
probably
for
over 20.
Yeah, I have quite a few friends now that I've been friends with for multiple decades. And it's when I was younger, I didn't really think about it that way, but now it's one of the most like powerful things for me. It's one of the most things that I'm just like, when I'm alone and thinking about it, I'm like, dude, thank God I have the friends that I have. Thank God I have the relationships that I have. I can call people and like, hey man, I'm struggling with this. I got this fucking problem, like, and they're like, oh,
Can you help me dig a hole?
Yeah.
Who's going to help me bury the bodies? Yeah.
Yeah. Or hey, I've got this guy that has a solution, and then you plug it in, and it saved my business many fucking times, man. Many fucking times.
Yeah, and we're in a weird transition state with that. To your point, and me, obviously, you bringing up our ages too. I'm in that weird millennial transition point where, like, I was raised by guys like you, and I really bought into that culture, but I also was in the transition of like, I hate to bring this up again, but like the Eddie Gallagher guys that came up, there were these entitled millennials that were like, oh, you know, feelings and PC and all this shit. It's like, nah, dude, that's just not, it's just not. And I don't want to get too, it's a weird dynamic there. Cause like I totally bought into that. That's the way
there's
I
a lot
think
of different
and operate.
subcultures too in the teams as I'm sure there are in the tattoo community. Like there's a lot of subcultures to where, like when I got to Team 5, it was like, no, dude, just shut up, do platoon, deploy. Whereas there's other dudes who are like, you know, they'd do a couple platoons like, oh, I want to go over to Bud's and get college and dude, the group of guys that I hung out with were like, gay.
Yeah, because it's fucking gay because they use it as a resume.
Some of those guys now, and they're like, you know, doctors and like, you know, successful businesmen and you know, didn't necessarily want to do 20 years in the teams, and they were, you know, and I get that, you know, I don't.
But I see that
I don't
happening.
belittle guys that did that, because I think those guys actually, if anything, had more of a, you know, were hanging out more than I was. I was going with the flow. I was doing what team guys do. I was deploying and being a team guy, whereas dudes like that had to overcome a little bit of fucking that you know, being called a fucking fag for wanting to fucking go be on shore duty and do certain things, you know?
I see that happening in every other culture. I think it's just the Slinky effect is a little further behind, and maybe, Aaron, you can touch on this. Like, you see all these guys coming out of Juilliard that can do these insane tattoos and stuff, but they didn't go through the same experience that you had. It's totally different.
And they don't have to, because like I said in the earlier part of this discussion, like I went through some of that kind of nasty stuff and I needed it because I opened a shop where nasty stuff was still knocking on my door. So I needed that experience to kind of help me cope and navigate that situation. People coming in now from Juilliard, these talented young tattooers that are coming in, they aren't the chances are they're never going to have to deal with that. Did you say they're a bit entitled? Well, but I think they have a worse challenge in my industry, at least. And here's the challenge. My challenge was dealing with what I talked about. Okay. And I made that through, but I got to enjoy the Renaissance, meaning the industry fucking gold rushed, and you could accidentally, as a half-assed tattooer, make $150K a year 20 years ago, which was good fucking money. If you owned a shop with 9 of those guys, do the math. So money's flowing, and you just get in there and work, and you get paid. These guys coming in, this hyper talent that's coming in right now, they are going to compete for that money on a way we never ever had.
Probably have an ass ton of student debt. If they're
Juilliard,
they get the tattoo studio to pay it off.
I'm just saying Juilliard. I mean,
that was, I think that was
facetious.
But no student loan debts for people nowadays. Sorry,
I'm just saying these
that's oppressive.
Hyper talented artists that are now choosing tattoo as a craft. They aren't going to deal with gangsters most likely, but they are going to be in a very hyper competitive industry. They ain't just gonna. The gold rush is over. Yeah. We're all gonna. It's real business now.
There's always challenges, man. I noticed that in apparel, because I started my first clothing line with a partner in 2007, and at the time, e-commerce was just starting. Shopify was basically like brand fucking new, you know. And so a website cost fucking 15 to 30 grand. Like if you even knew a guy who could get it done, you know.
Yeah.
So, but that has now flipped. So it was way harder to start an apparel line then. But once you did, it was easier to scale because there weren't as many around. So you could get escape velocity.
GPT will make your website.
It's amazing, man. So now it's the opposite. So now it's so easy to start that everybody has one, and it's so much harder to scale now because there's so much chaff in the air.
Exactly.
It's hard to differentiate yourself.
Same for me. Same for this.
Yeah. So there's always challenges. I think the challenges change. Some things get easier, some things get harder, but I think there's always going to be challenges, but also that's, I mean, not to get too fucking esoteric here, but like that's kind of the human experience. Like, what fun would it be if we didn't have fucking challenges?
Yeah,
you know,
you're not going to learn without fucking getting your dick kicked in. You know, and I mean, even going back to some of the stuff you were talking about before. I mean, I would say I grew up in the culture because I mean, living in PB and seeing a tattoo shop on not necessarily every corner, but I remember hearing stuff, and not necessarily even being in that tattoo realm of hearing the ethics and the culture of like, oh, dude, Avalon, that's the PB tattoo shop. Like, you can't put a fucking another tattoo shop on Garnett, or you can't put another tattoo shop on Grand, and you can't like, how much of that did you go through in terms of, because I don't know when Guru started, but I mean, tattoo shops, like you're talking about the Renaissance. I mean, dude, it went from probably 30 shops in San Diego to like fucking 150.
What year was it when you went solo?
Like 5 years or some shit,
Probably, it was mid-90s, 96, 97, something like that.
Yeah.
No. I fucked that up. That's when I worked at Avalon. So late 90s is when I went solo. But yeah, you're right. The Renaissance happened, shops popped up everywhere, and the competition got steeper. But even in those early years of that, it still was gold for anyone who was good.
Yeah.
Because everyone jumped in, but nobody was good. Now we're in a situation where they're good.
Yeah.
And so now it's not that my industry is going through, they're freaking out right now. My industry is freaking out right now. And generally speaking, my shops, there's many reasons why. My history, my business, my SEO, I do a lot of things that other shops don't do, and we are doing fine. But we're not taking the fucking shovel out every day and just shoveling money into bank accounts. Yeah. We compete just like a dentist competes, just like a reeler competes. Like, I compete now. I can't just wake up in the morning and be like, I'm Guru. Check out all the fucking bad motherfuckers. Come here, wait in line, bitch. Like, those days are gone. They're not coming back. And that's fine. But for anybody who is a little lower than that, they're getting weaned out right now. Basically, we're getting a cleansing. We're going through a culling in my industry.
Some of that's good though, man. I mean, I think that's a necessary part of it too. It's like, if you're really good, if you're truly good, and you keep going, like, things will generally work out. You just got to keep going, because you're gonna get punched in the face sometimes.
But did you get any kind of flack for leaving Avalon and starting your own thing, or did most of those guys kind of go, "Hey, man, fucking good on you"?
Well,
or both.
Flack, yeah, but Patty, who owned the place at the time, she had some old school in her, and me leaving in those days, you don't leave a shop. When you leave a shop, you're the fucking enemy.
Right.
And she made that clear.
Competition.
Phip, her husband that she divorced, never really took that stance with me. She did. And that's why I opened on Garnett. When I opened on Garnett, which is only a block from Avalon.
It's a big middle finger, yeah. That's awesome.
It was happenstance, and I will get into that. My buddy bought that building. He was trying to do a bar, didn't work out, and he said, "Do you want to rent it from me?" So I didn't pick it. It picked me.
Right.
But I did hesitate. I'm like, I'm a block from Avalon, and I have old school stuff in me, and I don't want to give Patty.
So it wasn't intentional.
I didn't want to give her the finger. But there was also a part of me, it was like, why was it that I gave you 6 years? I was your top tattooer. I don't know how many hundreds of $1,000s I made you. I simply want to go do my own thing, and you basically disowned me. Like, we were like family.
Yeah.
And I was willing to go to another city at that point. But after that happened, I called Phip, and I was like, "Phip, I'm going to tell you right now, I got this chance on this building. It's a block from the original Avalon, and I know this is going to feel like a big fuck you to you and to Patty, but this is how Patty left me. Like, you're dead to me, fuck off. So I don't have any heartbreak over it. You're in North Park. You're good with me. So I'm doing this." And his response was, "Do it."
Yeah, well, loyalty is a two-way street too, man. Like, we've had, I think there's always that thing where, like, people come up, we see this in the teams all the times too, where, like, people come up and they'll try to do something else, and then there's a term for it called the crab pot mentality, which I'm sure you've heard. For some,
the crowds pull you back in.
Exactly, yeah. So for the viewers, the crab pot mentality is a very real thing, especially in, like, spec ops or any.
So true.
I think a lot of these
in life, dude.
Yeah, exactly. But I've noticed that a lot of people want you to do well, just not better than them, and they'll root for you until you start doing better than them, and then fucking hate you. And it sucks because like there's so much room for everybody, man. And like I used to get pissed at the time too when I was new to business. I would get pissed when like people were like what I thought was, you know, horning in our territory or some shit, which is comical to look back on. But I look back on it now, I'm like, dude, there's so much room for everybody, man. There's so much money out there, and if you do things right and you collaborate and you have the right intentions, the right people will find you and you'll move forward together. Like there's so much more money made by collaborating with people and doing things the right way and helping each other rather than trying to tear each other down.
That's the exact same shit that I not really deal with on a day-to-day basis, but like team guys in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I would never badmouth a fucking team guy, even though I could.
Yeah, we all have those guys.
Being in Hollywood. I mean, and actually, there's so many
We're
fucking...
abrasive humans.
Well, there's so many fucking good dudes up there. But then there's other dudes that will legitimately, like, not stab you in the back, but, like if I had legitimately, like, hey, you know so-and-so? And I was like, yeah, the guy's kind of a fuck... No, I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, man. I know that guy. He's a fucking good motherfucker, man.
Yeah.
I never fucking badmouth a fucking team guy, especially in front of... anybody else. There's just no reason for it. There's so much work up there.
Yeah.
Less now, but me fucking making tearing somebody down to make myself feel bigger,
right,
is never the answer.
I feel like unless, sorry, not to cut you off there, but a caveat to that is, unless it's something where like, hey, there's a real like chance of damage component, then you're like, hey man, like he's a good guy, but just don't put him in charge of this, or maybe this, you know, here's his strengths, but just, you know, here's a weakness that he have. If you can work around this, he's really strong in this area. But I feel like there's a
I don't need to do that.
line with that.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey man, great fucking dude.
I actually have a highly specific question on this per like the tattoo industry, and maybe you want to take it a totally different direction. But I noticed a lot of artists have
enough with the fucking dick tattoo.
I'm sorry, like how do I get the Darth Maul double end? It's not enough real estate, but I want to have the two red pieces on either. It's not big enough.
Dude, if he takes
we'll move on. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Hey, if he
I want a Darth Maul lightsaber dick, all right?
I'm waiting for that fucking thing to fall off the...
No, I positioned it
If he tattoos
perfectly.
your dick totally black, it doesn't automatically make it bigger.
I have a story about that that the guy who normally sits here has a real picture of. I'll tell that real quick, and then I'll ask you your question. So I tore my adductor about a year and a half ago doing back squat. Doesn't matter. Your adductor is your gracilis. It's this muscle right here.
Nobody knows what that means.
And it's your groin. It's your groin muscle. It's basically the inside part of your quad. Your quad's made up of a bunch of different muscles. Funny acronym we used in SOCM to memorize all of the muscles. There's more than that. The acronym we used was Big Fat Mexican Titties Make Me Happy. And the same, you use ooh to touch and feel a gooey vagina. Aw, heaven is how you memorize the 12 cranial nerves in soccer.
All right.
I swear that's how we memorized it.
Okay.
Or the first 3 cranial nerves.
I'm
Start
trying
with
to
O.
picture what kind of techniques you would come up with to pass the bar as a lawyer.
Yeah,
yeah.
common spelled with a U.
Optic.
Well, that's actually a memory technique we learn in the teams, is to make it like so obnoxious and unreal.
No, it sticks,
You tell a story to memorize all the items that are in front of you. It's so outrageous.
Kim's games, yeah.
Yeah, that's how you
it
memorize
works.
things.
Keep in
and that's the
memory.
way that team guys memorize acronyms. Is
No, I get
Big
it.
fat Mexican titties make me happy. They
You're not
fucking
going to
do.
forget
It's
that.
also true. Yeah.
Anyways, I tore my adductor.
Big fan.
So I went to my buddy who had a recovery clinic, and one of the things he had was I think it's called a Novatech. It's like a game ready. It's a compression shorts that you put on. And so I put the compression shorts on and sit there, and I'm like, gosh dang, dude, this thing hurt. It squeezed the shit out of me. Next day I wake up, and I went out the night before. I'm not going to lie. This was like 6 years ago. And I wake up, and I'm like, did I leave a Sharpie in my pocket? Why is my dick all black and blue? So it pushed all the swelling, the blood from the torn muscle into my pelvis, and my dick is attached to my pelvis.
It is?
it's a part of my pelvis. Apparently, it's
Weird.
So
Did it make it
like
bigger?
half my dick, it wasn't bigger. I was pissed. That's
Just
false.
different color.
Just because your dick's black, it does not mean it's bigger at
What
all.
a bummer, dude.
Full circle.
Yeah, myth. All right, so we've solved the myth. Back.
I learned something there.
I'll put my Sharpie away.
Now I'm
Fuck.
forgetting what the question. What were we talking about right before that? I had a really good question for you on that.
We were what were we talking about? We were talking about Jesus Christ.
What were we talking about? I thought we were talking about like the ethics of opening up a new shop.
That
and
was
the
in
fact
there.
That was
that-
original, yeah. That was like 7 side quests
I
ago.
think we talked about like paying it forward, making friends, relationships
Yeah,
matter.
yeah.
Later on in life, you don't even understand how important they are. Then one day, 10 years later, you make a phone call. You're like, man, I'm glad I would stay tight with these people.
I really don't even know. Let's keep talking.
Not burning bridges. Aaron's gonna leave this fucking podcast
Yeah.
and be like, dude, these guys are fucking wasted.
Yeah, black dicks do not
with
make
you.
it does
Cheers,
not
fucker.
equal bigger dick.
All right, since we
Conclusion.
lost that one, I'll go back to Ryan, what you were talking about earlier with the idea around, life goes on, you make friends, you might not seem so important at the time, but you get older and you realize a lot of this did matter more than you thought. And I think that goes down to a deeper layer that has a lot to do with the energy frequency we carry, you can call it karma. But when we talked about jealousy.
Yeah.
Someone's doing better than me. Fuck that. Someone's competing with me. Maybe I should be angry at the competitor that's playing at a level I'm playing at, even though I'm in a market where there's plenty of market for high-level competitors.
That's actually what we were talking about.
I think this is
There you
where
go.
we were
Yeah.
going,
Yeah.
right? And I 100% agree, but I would take it to it more. And you said earlier, I don't want to get too esoteric. I love going esoteric because that's
Perfect.
That's my jam.
Yeah.
I love DMT. I love mushrooms. I get
right.
too esoteric all the time, but I do believe that the energy that we emanate. And it's the energy you emanate is a culmination of all the different hatreds, jealousies, love, all those things mixed together, and they create a unique signature.
That's your vibration at
That's
the
your
time,
vibration, and that vibration is what draws near you, right? So a simple example would be, I'm in this industry. There's a guy doing it pretty well near me. I'm jealous of him, or I'm feeling threatened by him. Well, your energy just shifted into a fear vibration.
Yeah.
What are you going to attract? You're going to attract him kicking your ass. Because what's your fear? This guy might take my market. This guy might take my money. This guy might affect my family.
Okay.
Guess what you're fucking going to get?
Because you're making decisions based on that
You're going to get the
mindset,
thing
right.
you're scared of.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's actually I remember now. Okay. So a big thing in the industry right now is a lot of guys using high contrast. They're using a lot of white ink. And if you know anything about tattooing, you know the white ink is going to fall out very quickly. So what are I'm going to leave it there. What are your thoughts on that? Like and the reason I'm asking that is when you do a tattoo and you take photos and video of it immediately after it's done, the contrast is going to be outrageous. And if white ink is put into it, it's going to be another level. So
All right. Well, there's a few layers here. The first layer is just core beliefs in the craft, right? I have my core beliefs. They're probably considered old school a little bit at this point. I like a solid black outline. I like deep black shading. I like simple color on top. And my theory on that is, as that tattoo ages, some of that, if I used the black outline, a lot of black shading, and I used a deep blue to a light blue, that light blue could disappear in 10 years. That's true. But even when that light blue disappears, that thing still looks pretty much like it looked. It may not look gleamy and shiny like a new car the day you buy it, but it looks like a fucking still. Now there is a big movement. A lot of it's photorealism, and it is absolute no black outline. It's peachy cream tones and basically a lot of ink that involves a lot of white. You take white, you put a little blue in there. You take white, you put a little bit of ochre in there, and you can create portraits of Michael Jackson. It looks insane, and it plays well. I can't do it. My pitch is too low. I got too much tea.
damn it, I need more tea because I can do it. Well, that's my excuse.
But So on a craft personal level, I wouldn't get those tattoos. I admire them. The talent it takes to create some of these tattoos is fucking mind blowing. But I do have a old school perspective. I'm trying to create kind of an old school foundation of my tattoos. However, do I support the dudes that are doing it? 100%. High five to all of them. Do I support the people collecting them? High five to them too. Because like I said earlier, it's your journey. If you want to get a portrait of somebody on your leg that's mud in 10 years, I think that's fucking awesome. And then you'll get a fucking laser treatment and get something new, or you'll leave the muddy tattoo and maybe it still brings you joy.
Or can you put white back into it to bring it back to life?
And you could get the whole thing revamped. Yes, you can. I mean, I don't think most people maybe know that. And maybe if you said to me, I want this color situation, this hyper vibrant photorealism thing to happen, and I'm going to come back every 10 years, I'm going to make it just like it looks today. Okay. Who am I to judge? But yes, to answer your technical question, my 33 years has told me a lot of those really high white forward inks, they go away. Unless you're a vampire. There are some people that have like vampire skin, we call it.
They don't go outside. Yeah.
What is that?
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's a good one.
See,
and this is
Gizmo.
This is another one that could go muddy, but this is a black and gray tattoo.
Oh, so you tattoo your dog?
Yeah.
I'm much more supportive of hyper realism with black and gray. Yeah. Black and gray is a simple technique where
life.
I love black and
think
gray.
about it. The white in this tattoo is what?
His skin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And is the skin going to go away?
That's the whitest thing, yeah.
No, skin's never going to go away.
Yeah.
So hyper realism in black and gray really does work really well. When you get into hyper realism with full color, you're in a whole other thing, and depending on the piece,
which is why I want to ask you, because you do blend color with realism in this new style, like.
But if we were to, maybe this is too deep in the weeds, but if we were to bring up my portfolio, I could show you where it's not quite what I'm talking about. Like again, I have a very bold skeleton behind it, meaning big, bold black lines, deep black shading. Then those tricky things that come in that give it that like snazzle dazzle, they're in there. But if those drop away,
snazzle dazzle.
If those drop away, there's still a tattoo that lives. And my shit's huge. A lot of these color realism guys are doing like Michael Jordan, head to toe this big. Michael Jordan doing a slam dunk that big. His fucking shoes on that tattoo are half a centimeter wide with the Nike logo.
They're actually a size 18, but
back to the black dick thing. But that little shoe, that's fucking mud, bro.
Yeah.
But you can create those really buttery effects in a big back piece, for instance, and they're gonna fade or they're gonna expand a little. You got room to breathe at that level.
That makes sense. So I have a question for you, because I noticed. As we're talking here, I realized that
you were gay.
Yes, exactly. We accept it.
So many hot dudes.
Thank you, guys.
It's okay. We're all feeling it.
It's funny how every episode has a theme. This one is
that door locked, by the way? Shit.
You're gonna have.
There's no getting out of here with your pants.
Turn the cameras off.
Here comes the grease gun.
So we're talking about. I know for me, I didn't like big picture thinking, right? So I didn't really think big picture when I was younger. Like my focus at the time when I was a new guy was just be the best new guy I was. I wasn't thinking about business or alternative shit or life beyond the teams or anything. I was just focusing on like, how can I be the best new guy I can possibly be? And then I think as you get older, like you know, your focus shifts and you realize there's more to life and you kind of like, you start to think bigger picture, and you've been through a lot. You have a lot of life experience. I think I'd love to hear what's your perspective now? Going through all that is like, do you have a life philosophy, and what does that look like as far as like big picture for your life versus business, home life, relationships, all that?
I do. And what you're describing is perfectly natural. You know, the 25-year-old that I coach when I'm tattooing him, who wants me to give him the answers, which I try to give some, but I know in my mind, like, it isn't going to work for you without more time.
Right.
It's just the way it works, the system that we're in, which
they won't understand the answer you give them until later.
Exactly. So yeah, here's a book to read. Yeah, here's how I view a few things. But in the end, you're going to have to go out and get kicked in the nuts and go through some of these things to really understand them on your own terms.
Yeah.
And what you end up with at the end will be slightly different than what I ended up with too. Mm-hmm. But I do think there's some ultimate truths that I think most people end up with if they are quiet enough. And for me, they are these. You are a culmination of all the emotions and viewpoints you have on the world. An easy example would be, I ask people when I hire them, I go, let me ask you a simple question. Do you think the world is a place where you should be ultra careful because most people are trying to fuck you? Or do you think the world is a place where there's tons of opportunity, but you should probably be a little bit careful because some people want to fuck you? And it's a trick question to some degree because if you answer the first way, I'm not interested in you.
Yeah, that's how you view the world. Very different.
Because how that viewpoint culminates into a frequency of energy that will attract that outcome. If you believe the world's a place where you're going to get fucked and most people are trying to fuck you, you will end up with friends, family, bosses, wives, husbands that do that to you.
You have pessimistic energy.
You get what you look for.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately I could go deeper into that, but I've done a lot of DMT, and it's not that DMT gave me the answer. DMT confirmed a belief I already held for me.
It allowed you to see reality.
It showed it to me straight up. I already was on this tip and I was like, I think this is what's going on. And then my DMT experiences, I mean, it wasn't even vague. It was a fucking godlike entity that just went without words.
Hey, stupid fuck.
DMT, are you talking the 5-MeO, the Kamba, the whole...
No, my stuff was not 5-MeO. It was actually Joe's recipe. It came...
Okay.
My DMT stuff was me and... It was Joe was my...
He's your shaman.
He's your conduit.
Shaman Joe. He hates this. By the way, I asked him recently, why don't you talk about the DMT? He's like, Aaron, you realize back when
he does, though. He's like, he does talk
but not
about
like he
it.
used to. He's like, dude, I mentioned how much I love it, and 8,000 people do it in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's and they don't do it right. They don't do it with purpose.
Then
they don't
blame him
their
for
intent,
their experience.
Intent is the number one thing that people have to understand behind this. Is like, if you go into it and you're just like, oh, Joe says it'll heal me, like, oh, because everybody wants the easy button, especially in this day and age of instant gratification. Yeah, I'm not. I won't go down that wormhole.
It's weird. Just one mention.
We should.
Just one mention on his Instagram, and like it literally changes people's lives because of his reach.
That's an insane amount of power and influence.
You would think though, but I mean, he was talking about me to Bill Maher. I could bring up the clip. Him and Joe. Talking about Bill Maher. I get 100 DMs and texts from friends going, bro, are you exploding right now? And not really.
Oh, okay.
Because everybody wants to drop his name.
But it probably depends on that was a casual conversation where he mentions my name to Bill Maher. But yeah, I mean, if he's maybe mentioning
well,
like
dude,
he does
wait till we air this episode. Your shit's going to blow the fuck up.
That's why I'm here.
All 7 people are in your DMs.
Yeah.
Hashtag when's Joe next?
The DMT experience is what, how do I say this? Matter in reality, the place we're at, this place, the earth realm, right? It deals with matter, right? Matter responds slowly to our frequency. It responds slowly to thought. You go into DMT land, what you think happens like that. The entities say to you, or said to me, that's how it works where you're at. It's not, you're not going to think, I want to be a millionaire. Boom, a millionaire. I want to be over there with a hot chick. I'm over here with a hot, like, this is not, up there it does. So the reason they put us here is what I was told is until you can control your thoughts and your frequency, the frequency you emanate, we have training wheels on you basically. We put you into an earthly realm, a matter realm, where if you consistently think love and not a lot of fear, long term, you will get the results of that frequency. If you consistently think about hatred and jealousy, long term, you're going to get that result.
I'm fucked.
Don't smoke DMT, because I'll tell you what, you get on that side.
All
and you have
Kevin
a
thinks
fear
about
thought,
his butt stuff. So
it gives it to you immediately. I had a trip recently where
that's crazy.
I was scared. My fear generated a trip. It was my first bad trip of my whole life. Fucking terrified me. I haven't smoked DMT since then. I mean, but it was a great lesson. It showed me, like, you're in fear mode. You want fear?
Gotcha, bitch.
yeah.
In spades.
My first
Amplified,
5-MeO trip, I was terrified. I left and I went and cried in my car for like 30 minutes. I was not ready for it, but you have to go into it with intent.
It told you were gay.
Yeah, I was like, damn it.
Gayer.
I'm telling everybody I love
More gay.
I accepted
Dude, and that's, I've talked to, well, I would say talked to a lot of guys, but I've talked to team guys who have done shit like ayahuasca and done stuff, and they've literally had some fucked up trips. So, like, when people ask me if I've been down to the place down in TJ and Rosarito, they're like, "Oh, have you gone down and do the ibogaine treatment?" And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I feel like I'm doing pretty fucking good on this side of the fucking whatever the fuck you
I
call
haven't
it.
done ibogaine. It seems like a different thing. Like, I have the same reservations about doing it, because, like, I don't have anything in my life that I really need to correct or change
You
course
don't want
on.
to come out of the closet.
Not yet. But I'm hesitant to do that, because I've seen people, and we all know people that do that, and they have great experiences, and they really do change. But the thing is, a lot of them really needed to change, and so it's very helpful for them to do this.
Yeah.
But a lot of not a lot, but there's been a few key people I've known that have gone and done it, and they were fairly well adjusted, and they came back, and they were in this instance, they were one in particular, very thoroughly experienced military guy, and his business revolved around his military experience.
Yeah.
And he came back, and he was a little bit, like, too empathetic. Like, he had lost that edge a little bit. Like, he's still a hard motherfucker, but he had lost that. He wasn't making the same decisions. He was erring more on the side of empathy. And his business actually suffered quite a bit from it, because he wasn't the same type of person. He wasn't looking at
Trying to say turn into a pussy.
But
no, not at all. But he lost that edge that
I'm
just
just
made
fucking
him do what
with
he's
you.
doing. Yeah.
give that story time.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong.
He corrected. Yeah, he
Because
adjusted.
I had that
He righted the
exact
ship.
same experience on my
There's no
first
right or wrong.
DMT experience. I came back ultra empathetic. Like, I was like a fucking hippie on acid. My wife loved it. She's like, I would hug her and cry.
That's a common story, yeah.
Yeah, I would see
Because-
birds
yeah.
fly by, and I'd be like, it's just so fucking beautiful. Am I not right?
Jesus Christ.
And
I'm not going to do that shit ever.
And then I got to go to work.
Do an SGB first, and you'll be like, oh, shit, I can...
I'm just kidding.
And then I got to go to work, and I got to fire somebody. There's real practical things that you can't be crying about the fucking cloud that's forming above your head,
Yeah.
how pretty it is.
Yeah.
But ultimately, for me, what happened long term is it opened up my heart, and it needed to be opened.
Yeah.
I had some trauma through some of the stories I told earlier, and I had gotten closed. I was ready for a fight always. I was like, what? I was like an inmate. Like, what are you towing up? Like, what do I need to call? What do I need to do? That was not where I needed to be. So it blasted my heart open. I got not too empathetic, but way too empathetic for this functional world for a bit.
Yeah.
And then that zeroed back in, and now I seem to glide in this place of understanding, like, there is a time and a place to hug your wife and cry. There's a time and a place to sit on a beach and look at a sunset and fucking a tear drops down your cheek. And there's a time and a place to walk in and tell somebody, that's bullshit, you're fired.
Yeah.
With empathy, though.
Yeah.
It was just your first time experiencing that. And that's all of mental health is subjective. How we all experience it, how we all come to realization with it, it's all different for every single one of us.
Yeah.
You might have an extreme, like, holy shit, I see and feel everything, and I need to deal with that, and then come back and find a baseline. Other people are like, oh, I just need to calibrate and find the middle section here.
Yeah, like
it's
this guy-
different for all of us.
This guy I'm talking about, it took him about 6 months. He righted it, and he's got his wife is like a G. She's very, like, she keeps him very even keel, so he was able to come back to center, and I think probably be better than he was before.
There you go.
But it was definitely like it was a little bit of a struggle, and I'm a little bit worried about that for me because we don't really have a lull in our business where I can afford to be like that
pussy.
Well, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, you better keep my numbers up, bitch.
No, it's fucking crazy though, because I've known guys who've gone down there, and this isn't just discussing the specific ibogaine thing, because it's many different facets of that. It's guys,
and there's so
guys
many
have
different
done,
drugs.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Ibogaine's not
guys
the only
doing
one.
ayahuasca and guys doing fucking other.
Ketamine is the same, chemically speaking, on paper as ibogaine.
Is it?
Oh,
It
I didn't
is.
know that.
It's the same fucking drug. Yeah, it's just so there's a lot to be said of that, and that's where tattoo therapy comes into it. Ibogaine is difficult. Ketamine, I can go into a lab, someone or a clinic, someone can give me ketamine, and I could be like, I could even take Zofran so I don't get sick. I won't feel any nausea.
Zofran?
Zofran's an anti-nausea medication.
Hold on, let me write this
Antiemetic. Yeah. So, but if you take Ibogaine, it's going to last for
So you're
hours.
saying when I
You're
was
going to
snorting
feel like
Special
shit.
K off of a key in the 90s.
Special K and lab grade ketamine are two different animals
Yeah, no, I'm
completely.
fucking around.
But yeah, what I'm saying is like, there's an aspect to your therapy that is not just the chemical process that's happening in your brain; it's the experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave it there.
And maybe I'll add to it, which is it's pretty awesome that these things are even moving around right now.
Yeah.
Because look, we can sit here and debate all day about how much DMT we should smoke or how much Ibogaine we should all take and what traumas we're trying to work through and what it's going to do or not do. That's debatable, and it's unique to each person for sure. But I think it's pretty fucking rad as a young punk rocker that did his first acid trip at fucking 17 and could read minds and was like, this is, my parents are going to tell me I'm just a drug addict or something, but I know this is not drugs, that I am touching and feeling God
You're
right
tapping
now,
into
or
something.
something fucking more than that.
own
Yeah.
existence.
Till you tell them what their
whatever it
PIN
is.
numbers are for their credit cards. And they're like,
I see your future.
But I just think it's rad that whole realm. You know, a lot of people my age will say the world's just so fucked. It's no different than we were young. And I'm always the guy in the room. It's like, no way, dude. We've come so far in 30 years. This particular subject, in general, we're making massive headway. Humans are so short-sighted because we want everything to be on our timeline. Meaning, I live to be 90 if you're lucky. Well, I need to see great change in 90 years. I mean, my God, you're not. Look at the fucking history of the world. Great changes happen over 100 years, 200 years, 500 years, 1,000 years. If you look at that scale, we're going in a very good direction as a species. Yeah. Now, I get it. AI, there's a lot of things happening that could also end the planet too, but there are a lot of good things happening. I choose to focus on that. I think we can make it as a species. I think we're doing
AI
a
has
good job.
opened our minds and our
What are
What
are your thoughts that the planet ends in 2035?
Is someone calling that one out now?
Yeah.
Who's calling this one out?
Know, some fucking time travelers or some shit.
Oh, there's always those.
Well, I went through the 2000, then I went through the 212, now the 235.
Yeah, and the Mayan calendar.
Well, what's the whole thing supposed to happen this year where gravity is going to cease to exist for 7 minutes?
I thought it was the year of the tiger.
7 seconds or
The
something.
flip of the poles.
That's
The flip of the pole, the magnetic flip of the
Yeah.
poles.
Supposed to be like
that is pretty interesting. Yeah, but then you
7
got
seconds. The gravity is
but
supposed to.
but that's such a I mean that's such a non-starter. But the pole,
What do you mean?
The pole flipping thing is interesting, and then also you've also got a Project Bluebeam, which is this fake alien invasion that's supposed to happen fairly soon.
I know
That's a
all
whole
about
other.
that.
What is it?
So there's just this
Butterbean?
yeah, it's Butterbeans coming down.
We're getting broke?
Free butter beans for everybody.
So there's just this theory that's been going around for decades, long ass time, but it has to do with this theory that they're going to try to unite, and you're versed on this apparently, so correct me if what you've heard on this, but supposedly there's going to be this event where they're going to try to unite the world for whatever fucking reason.
Who's they?
Well, the they.
The aliens.
And then they're going to be like, the
No.
catalyst for it is supposed to be this alien invasion.
Right.
But supposedly that's going to be our ships.
The
that are
powers
positioned
that
to look
be,
like.
the elites that we don't know their names, are going to use Project Bluebeam.
The Rothschilds.
Yes, the fake
Illuminatis.
alien invasion to get us to get the chips in the arm
All
and
the
all the
stuff,
different
yeah.
things we're going to need to do because the aliens are telling us to do it, and they're a hyper advanced species. It's not us, the Rothschilds, telling you to do it. No, these people came from a highly advanced culture, and this is what we all should do.
Or it could be the opposite, where we need to unite and do these things to defend against them.
Unity.
Yeah.
or that.
So it's pretty interesting stuff. I mean, I don't know what the fuck is real
Sounds
or
like a
true on this
movie.
stuff.
Sounds like a really good movie. I should
Yeah.
write a screenplay.
What would
for
happen
this.
if we all just like didn't do anything, did our own thing?
Well, that is an option.
That's called going off the grid?
You just nailed what I was going to say, which is
I'm gonna ignore this shit.
I've been a rabbit hole. I've done some rabbit holes. You could probably tell by some of my ways
Love
I'm
it,
being
yeah.
right now. I don't do rabbit holes anymore. I do now. I do this
Yeah.
because it's been so many years. I read so many things. I planned. I prepped for this.
It consumes you, doesn't it?
It what?
It consumes you, doesn't it?
What did I get out of all that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I
Nothing.
agree.
Yet
Gave
here
to
I
it.
sit with you guys drinking a whiskey, having a good time. I'm just done. I live today. If those fucking ships come down and I got to put a chip in my arm, I'll deal with that when it fucking happens. Until then, I was telling my wife the other day, she's a little more deep on the politics sometimes. And reading a new book, and
Yeah.
you guys, I'm going to say this to listeners right now, you got to read Transurfing, dude. I've read hundreds of fucking books. And
Transurfing?
it's a
I'll write
fucking
that down.
Russian physicist. I
Sounds
I
gay,
can't
but I'll read
believe
it.
I missed this one because I did so many of them. And this dude is nailing it from my perspective and the things
yeah.
I've actually experienced. And it's pretty simple. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Like where you vibrate is what you're going to get. There are multiple realities happening simultaneously. You will simply fall into the timeline and the results that timeline creates based on your vibration. So you want to sit here and talk about aliens killing us? Not that I'm ditching on you, because I've done that for thousands of hours. Or the fact that there's a secret government that's going to don't get me into COVID, all these things.
Yeah.
Well, you sit there and meditate on that long enough, you're going to live that. You shift into that lifeline where that actually fucking occurs. So I have a new, just this to all of it. My wife's like, do you see what Trump said today? I'm like, I don't even fucking want to know. If it's big enough, I'll know. Because I'm going to walk out. My neighbors are going to be in the front yard going, there's nukes that just hit D.C. Okay, fine. I don't need CNN to tell me that.
Hey, fuck you. I'm in my bunker, bitch.
For me, as far as psychedelics go, I've made a huge bifurcation between
Whoa.
what I have
Fuck's a bifurcation.
Delineation.
A separation.
separation.
There
shift,
you go.
yeah.
Okay.
Between
All right.
what I can actually fucking impact and what I can't.
Yeah.
Well,
That's the thing. You
and
just
that's
control. You
another-
can control.
That's another weird.
That was the beginning of our whole talk.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another weird fucking thing too for me. And I go back to this trip I took in 2019 to Thailand, where I lived I was in Thailand for 5 months on a film, and I felt this huge weight off of my fucking shoulders.
I love ladyboys.
Well said. No, it's
And
one
I'm
of those
gonna let
things
the
where,
world know.
Dude, before I left, I was fucking hammering. I was hammering motherfuckers on social media. I'm changing minds on Facebook.
Ladyboys are the way.
But it was I went through. I don't know. I went through this fucking Buddhist transformation, man, where I was literally just out of touch with reality. Not out of touch with
It's like social
fucking
media.
the United States fucking news media.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I stopped watching the fucking news, and I came back, and there was this huge weight lifted off my shoulders, and it got to a point where I'm sitting there going, dude, I don't give a fuck who is in the White House. I don't give a fuck who's elected A, B, C, D, even the fucking mayor of San Diego. How fucking much is my life going to change?
Yeah.
Realistically. Not
I know
a lot, dude.
I know the exact
not
day
a
it happened
fucking
for
lot.
me.
I mean, yeah. Parking in Balboa Park, I don't know. How often do I go to Balboa Park? Never. If I go, I'm going to take a fucking Uber.
This is a full circle moment for me. All right. I started this whole podcast by telling you guys I was an anarchist. And I really
There you
was. I had it painted on my jackets. I had it tattooed on me. it was my answer to bucking the system. Then I got involved in the system. Then I started going down these rabbit holes, and I spent thousands of words and so much of my breath
Sounds
trying
like
to
you need some whiskey.
I do. Trying to convince people that we should vote this way, or we should be preppers, or we should worry about this or not worry about this. All this talk. Yet time went by. None of those things happened.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think you want to be this is my philosophy. If you want to be a true punk rocker, you want to be a true anarchist.
I love this.
Let go of the fucking pendulum.
Yep.
The pendulum being the mind control that the propaganda that they are using against us. The Instagram, the
Stop
fucking
being a pawn.
CNN, a pawn in the game.
Yeah,
exactly.
They don't want us to do this. Us to turn off and just be with each other.
Because then they lose all their control.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the most punk rock thing you can do.
Yeah.
So I'm returning
To
to
be
my
independent.
roots. And what I'm going to do, I'm shutting it all down. I mean, it fucking irks me that I even have an Instagram account. And I have it. I own a business.
It's business,
It's a business avenue.
have to.
Fine. I'm not a fucking idiot. But I tell my friends, you'll know when I've made it. Because I won't even have a fucking phone number.
Well,
Dude,
I won't
it's
even
crazy
have a goddamn
because
phone number when
it's
this
crazy
ends.
because I know the exact day where I had this realization. It was the day we pulled out of Afghanistan. I was punching the ceiling inside of my truck to the point where there was dents on the outside of my old truck because I was so angry about everything I was hearing on the news. And that day, I deleted all of the podcasts that were news related. I stopped watching the news.
Yeah.
I completely checked out from anything that was media or news related that was feeding me from the United States government. Because I was like, fuck you guys. I'm just going to live
cut
on my
off their
own.
control is what
I
you
cut
did.
it off completely.
Well,
Their
but
control.
I didn't make
Yeah.
that realization until you just said that.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
same
you
fucking
just had
shit.
that
Yeah.
realization now?
Yeah.
I was losing my shit when we pulled out
Yeah.
of Afghanistan.
You were doing what your heart knew
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
needed to do. That's
Dude,
your soul talking right there.
I did the
and I
same
didn't know
shit.
it. I didn't
Dude.
know. It was about prior to the...
Because your soul always knows
Yeah.
before the brain knows.
I did the same shit when fucking ISIS retook Ramadi. It was
Yeah.
like, dude, 5 deployments to Iraq. I'm sitting there going, what the fuck? What the fuck
What
do
did
we
we
do this
do?
shit for? What
Yeah.
the fuck? And then finally I'm like,
Fuck
Yeah.
it.
who gives a fuck?
Fuck them all.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
sucks. I mean, it's the way
honestly.
it goes, though. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said for just. I mean, I hate to say it simply, but controlling what you can control. But I mean that in the very real sense of like your family, your relationships, the people in your circle.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, you
if
can't go through life as a fucking as a fucking nihilist, fucking the Lebowskis.
Yeah, I mean,
and
it's
you're like,
it's just exhausting.
Nothing
I
you
agree,
know.
I agree
Yeah.
with you.
you
on
know,
that.
Yeah, you have
have
to
some passion for something.
Yeah, you have to be useful to people around you, but also it's fucking exhausting to be so concerned about so many things all the fucking time, man. And it's like there are things in my life that come in and I'm like, okay, I need to deal with this. This can have an impact on my world,
Yeah.
my relationships, my things. But most of it, I'm like, it's just funny, dude. I love Instagram because I just enjoy it. It's fun. I have a good time talking shit to people. But I use it as like a very kind of say like arm's length thing. So like I don't really comment on other people's shit, or if I do, it's positive stuff like, hey, good job, or I'll try to boost
Good
people
job,
up when I can.
retard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But I never comment anything negatively because like there's no fucking point, you know. But what I do enjoy is when people comment, they come into our circle and they comment negatively on shit. I love fucking with people.
You're really
it's
good
so
at that.
fun, dude.
Well, the
I have
funny
such a good
shit
time
too
with
is,
it.
hilarious.
dude, I'm still like a fucking grape ape, dude. I'm like a
Big thumbs,
Neanderthal, fucking. I'll type shit out. I'm like, you motherfucker, like, and then I'm like,
I should run
Nah,
that through
I
chat.
can't.
Dude, all I do now, I'm like, LOL.
or I'll fucking send it, and then later I go back. Oh, I gotta delete that.
I love it when
Like-
somebody writes some big fucking thing. They're all pissed off and I just go like, LOL. I love that shit, dude.
Well, dude,
Just making fun of them.
it's one of those things too, where it's like what? I mean, what the fuck are you accomplishing?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like getting into a Second Amendment fucking discussion on Facebook about like you're never gonna change anyone's fucking position.
No.
But if
no
people
one's ever
come
gonna
into-
change your position.
I look at
It's
it.
just-
I look at the things that we broadcast in our. I look at that as our circle. So
Yeah.
like, hey, these are my friends, this is our community that we're building. This is our circle. If people come in there, I feel like it's our responsibility to respond and protect the culture of what we have, but also in a fun way. But also, I don't have many hobbies. Talking shit on the internet is one of my only fucking hobbies. I just find it entertaining and fun, you know? It's my way of like, I don't know, getting into fights without getting into fights. I think you need a little bit of a release sometimes. And also you always look at the same people that comment negatively and have these just like, fuck you, negative interactions. They're all the same. They're all the same, like just negative, nasty person. And they're all suffering from the same thing. So it's so easy to kind of just diffuse them. My favorite thing, I'll just go through their profile and take a screenshot of their face because they usually all look the same. I'll screenshot their photo and be like, LOL. Like, bro.
Well, half the time it's probably
Then they have to own what they say.
Ryan, you need to get a hobby, bro.
I do need a hobby.
The other problem is we live in the age of information and accessibility, and it's like that's something that I think that we all need to manage ourselves personally. It's our responsibility to not get too sucked into.
Yeah, I mean, because it's your responsibility to. You can't let somebody else dictate how you feel. You know what I mean? Like
which I don't think you do.
Well, you give up if you
make fun of it.
Yeah, make fun of it because that's the only response that matters. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, any other response is you're allowing them to dictate whether you're pissed off or whatever. You're looking for external.
If you can,
you're giving them control. Exactly,
Ryan. If you can respond that way and keep your mood light.
Oh yeah.
Then
I love it. I have a good time with it.
100% support it.
Yeah. My initial response is
always
to your point.
It's all about that mood and that intention behind it. If you could be silly with them, like, fuck you, suck a dick, and you can laugh and go make dinner with your wife, then go. But if an opposite example, and this isn't you, is the guy goes, fuck you, suck a dick, and he's fucking walking around
impacts him
thinking about it.
Then I win. Like, great, bro.
No, the guy that made the comment.
Oh, 100%.
If you can do it and keep light on your feet, and just know I'm just fucking around on the internet.
Yeah,
dude,
then
that's why I gotta like just not fucking.
But I don't think that's what you're doing. I think you're taking what they say and you're making it so that they're the one walking around like, can't believe you responded that way.
I know. I love this stuff, man. I look at it as like it's kind of like a kung fu, you know. We're just like I'm black belt in kung fu.
But I think we should take this one layer lower, which is this is my belief. I do believe, I'm not going to say God, I think something made it all. And I think it must be pretty fucking smart.
There's a creator.
Yeah.
It must be smart. I mean, look at all this shit. I mean, how do you make molecules come together to make that cup?
It could be a coincidence either way. It's brilliant.
But I agree, it could. But I've made my choice.
Yeah,
and eventually,
I did too.
I think people should make a choice because, I mean, come on, you're going to die. Fucking place a fucking bet.
Yeah.
How long are you going to stand at the fucking roulette table? Put a goddamn fucking black or red.
Chip down.
You said
goddamn chip down. I put my chip down, which I think something made it. And if it's that smart,
that's trust. Yeah.
I think it's only going to put in front of me physically what it wants me to do. And that's where I get really sketched out on this fucker because this.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, here is this. I'm like, what is this? This is a portal to. I'm not even sure.
It's a portal to everyone else's insecurities.
That or not insecurities.
If that's what you make it.
Or wins. Yeah. But at the same time, put this over here. There's you. You're sitting right there. I see you. Yeah. There's my wife. There's my children. There's my buddy. There's my neighbor. And I just I'm trying to go back to that place where I'm like, I'm only going to deal how I can with right in front of me, my business partners, my friends. If I can help them, I'm going to help. If they can help me, I'm going to call them motherfuckers up and ask for help. Otherwise, we're going to have no help needed. Let's just have a beer. Yeah. Like that is.
It's also called presence. Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's where I'm trying to get back to for me personally.
It takes effort, man. It takes effort. And I think my initial reaction when somebody says some stupid shit is always that old, like, you know, fuck you, this and that. But then I realized, like, dude, if this is a fight, like, what are their weaknesses? What are my strengths? How can I win this? And it all comes down to exactly what you said. I'm like, does it fucking matter? I'm like, no, fuck this person, whatever. Like, I'm not going to let them affect my fucking day. I have shit to do. I have friends to talk to. I want to go have drinks with my friends and fucking talk about cool shit.
I got a
like,
podcast.
And the only fights that you're in on here are the ones you participate in.
the ones if you choose to partake. Yeah, I think we all have a lot more control of our lives than we think we do. But you have to intentionally cut those fucking strings. And if you don't, you're going to find yourself pulled all kinds of fucking different directions and acting all kinds of fucking ways. Because, like, there is, like, a lot of manipulation going on. And if you're not aware of it, like, the first step is being aware of it. I think once you see it, you're like, oh, fuck, that's pulling me this direction. That's not the direction I want to go.
Yeah.
You have a fucking choice to go a different direction. You have a choice to fucking participate or not participate. And if you choose to participate, you also have a choice in the way that you participate in it. And I like to choose, like, positivity. I just want to have a good time with my friends, man.
Or you can even go one step further and see the guy that's talking smack to you, and with understanding everything you just said, you could just give him love.
And that's what you just did with the whole white ink question. That's to your point.
I think you're
That's
going to say, like,
what you did,
stalk him and, like, find out where he lives.
You gotta actually suck him off, but you could.
To your point, you could troll that motherfucker like, oh, that's all going to look like trash in a year. But you're like, I see the value in it. It makes sense.
But
and you looked at it from every perspective. Now it's just all understanding.
We're all cells in the body of God, which I think that's the case, right?
Jesus.
The entire, we're all just apertures looking at ourselves, right? The universe is us, and I'm a cell. Like, I'm right here in my kneecap. My body's the entire universe.
No,
here I am.
You're saying we're the tiniest little.
I'd be down here.
I'd be a tiny dick.
The tank.
I'd be the tank.
The gooch.
Then when you get mad at something, or you try to school something, it's just you.
Yeah, it's just you.
Yeah.
So how should a healthy cell respond to a sick cell? Is it
Attack!
And that's true in acute situations. I brought those up earlier. The sick cell is breaking into your house trying to rape your kid. You kill him. Obviously, that's an
call the
obvious
white
choice.
blood cells, yeah.
That sick cell is
funny that
saying
they're white.
negative comments on Instagram. I think that cell just needs some love.
Give him a little hug.
Or a little grace. Or just, or nothing.
I haven't evolved that far.
Yeah. Give him a hug or maybe a hand job.
Yeah, he's going to go find somewhere else to do
I
it.
haven't quite evolved that far. I still like to slap motherfuckers.
I'm not trying to be. I'm not
physically. Not physically,
Knee
but
slap.
I'm not saying I do it either. I'm just proposing the idea.
Yeah.
Like, it's something I think about when I don't respond to negative shit.
But I think you have to think about it, though. I think a lot of people just fly off the handle and shit because they're running off emotion. And, like, dude, you're just being a marionette for all these other fucking things.
And the more important thing I was highlighting there is that you don't let it affect you.
I try not to, but I intentionally have to, like, break that out.
Yeah.
Because if I let it, it absolutely will. And then I
Well,
go down
that
these
is
rabbit
how
holes of,
you
like,
let it not affect you. You're like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, whatever. And I think
need to do that.
the reason I'm able to do that is that I live a strong, like, I live a decent, good life, I think.
And it's also who you
regular
are.
parameters.
You stand up to that type of shit.
Yeah, and I'm not going to, if somebody's coming in to bully, like, I'm going to bully the fucking bully. I'm going to put up with that shit. And I'll meet force with force when necessary.
There's nothing wrong with that either.
Yeah, and it's fine, but I'm not going to go out of my way to fuck with people. You know?
I think of Steve Buscemi after Adam Sandler called him. It was like, hey, man, I apologize. I know I was a fucking dick in high school. And Steve Buscemi's like,
He axes him off the list.
like fucking checks him off the list and lays back and, like, puts the
This is a
fucking
Billy
lipstick
Madison,
on.
right?
Like,
Yeah, for real, dude. No, for real, man. I just sent Mikey Sowers a text 2 days ago. I was having some drinks. Disney was away. I was just.
When's he coming on, man?
Dude, I was thinking about that, too.
Have you guys kissed
and
and
we
made
can
up?
talk about that later.
No,
but yeah.
I texted him this long text, and I was like, hey, man, like, I miss you. I'm sorry. You were right about a lot of shit, and I was wrong about a lot of shit. And,
that right there is the most powerful thing I heard during this whole 3 hours
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah.
And I've had those moments too. And that's kind of what I was trying to get towards. Like, obviously there are moments in our lives where you don't need to call the guy that fucking got into your bank accounts and took $100K. You don't need to call that guy and be like, it's cool, man.
No.
You were just needed money. I get it. But there are these smaller moments in our lives that really no one, raped the wife or took the money or burnt down the house and I've done it too. I've done it as not an experiment, but sort of. I felt it in my heart, but I also wanted to see what happened. And I just wrote them, and I said, "It's good, bro. Like, it was a wild time. I get where you were, and I still don't agree with it, but I just want you to know I fucking love you. We had a lot of good years together.
Yeah.
And dude, the wall melts like that.
Yeah, it's a shedding of the ego. And I think psychedelics are that's the first thing it knocks down is your ego.
Well, a lot of times too, in this particular instance, like he never did anything wrong. We had our disagreements or whatever, but over the last couple of years, I've realized that I didn't do a good job of looking at the relationship and the situation from his perspective. And I was like, shit, man. Yeah. Maybe I was the asshole. Maybe I was the one from his perspective who was doing things wrong.
Beautiful.
I would argue that he would think the same thing if he had the same.
I'm sure he thinks so. I'm sure he thinks.
And you
that I
would
was the
both
asshole.
find a lot of closure in that.
And he's right. I did some things that I was like, fuck, man. Like I thought I was 100% right at the time, and I was right by like the technical aspect of it, but I wasn't right in that
your delivery.
Well, it was that, but also too, I didn't understand his position, his perspective on it. And I think I could have handled with a lot more grace. And I was too just fucking, this is right, fuck you. And that's been a weakness.
See,
of mine for a
that
long
energy
time.
you just exposed right there, I felt it. Like I felt that, like in my body when you were speaking right now. That to me is what this world needs right there.
Yeah.
Well, I miss the guys. One of my best friends for years.
Yeah.
But and if you've met both of them,
scale that up,
which I know you have,
to the world. Right? If we could all just find that spot that you just described right there for our neighbors, for our enemies, for all the, and again, there are acute things that cannot and should not be allowed.
For sure, yeah.
But we're putting those over there.
Yeah,
because,
those are a separate category.
That's a separate category. We're talking about all these smaller things that no one's died, no one's been killed. It's just
earthly things.
Just words.
Yeah, it's just miscommunication.
That stuff.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that we talked about this today because this is my jam right now.
Yeah. I think
we should
more
talk
people
more about. We should all go on your podcast and talk about chats and
I think we should. This has been fucking great. This is a good little vibe right here. I like it.
Yeah,
100%.
absolutely, man.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I think if more people just had more conversations, like they'd realize that most of the things we argue about are not even that big of a fucking deal.
It's not. Yeah,
dude, this whole country's so fucking polarized. It's goddamn ridiculous. Honestly, you can't even like. I have guys that I went to film school with that are like, throwing shit out on Instagram or throwing shit out on whatever. Or I talk to people who I was in the military with, and they're talking mad shit about, the president or the fucking Congress or the fucking. I'm like,
it seems like the culture is to choose a side.
Fuck.
It is to fight.
Those are the puppet strings.
That's it.
There.
Yeah.
Be careful, guys.
Why don't we just figure out what's wrong?
I'll start by saying I don't think we're that polarized. I think this is hyper exaggerating the polarization.
Yeah.
Go again.
1,000%.
Let's come back to physical reality. Walk around, talk to people, go to your businesses, ask people where they're at. What I find,
what are you actually upset about?
is people are not that polarized. They're a little more open-minded. They're a little more willing to be like, yeah, I see that side, I see that side. Right. That's what I physically experience. Mm-hmm. This thing has got me convinced that it's like there's civil wars happening.
Because they tell you this person said this and that, and they don't tell you like
we are being fucking manipulated.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Period, dude. I'm convinced of it.
That's why you got to cut the strings. But it takes intentionality to do that.
It takes a lot of consciousness. It takes a lot of awareness. It takes a lot of, you got to be vigilant.
And some people are too gullible and vulnerable to even be on it without being subjected.
Which is why those people need people like us.
Yeah.
This whole situation needs leaders. They need people. They need this.
We
podcast.
need strong men.
They need this conversation.
Dude, I'm sorry. We need masculinity back.
It's coming back.
You're joking a little.
I'm not. Oh,
you're not.
We do. We need toxic masculinity.
Women. We need powerful men.
Yeah.
We need powerful,
and we need
strong, centered.
I agree
people.
with that. Yes.
I didn't know.
We need grounded people.
Good quality leaders.
But even masculinity. I'm not saying that there are women that emulate strong masculine energy that are leaders.
Well, you're not saying that you don't need femininity either.
No, not at all.
You need both.
No, I think masculinity is strong leadership. Well, I think there are a lot of women that embody it, and I think that that's actually sexy.
Well, you can't be a good leader unless you understand the feminine side either. Because otherwise you're missing. Like,
actually,
that's
a better way of putting
understand
it.
people.
Yeah,
You know,
actually, that's I'm not using the right verbiage.
Tim,
in
I
that.
think what you're saying is we need strong leaders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
honestly, I don't want to disagree with you because I don't think this is what you meant. I think we need more feminine powered leaders.
I think
feminine
we need
energy, which embodies empathy, compassion, and women and feminine energy.
Emotionally intelligent.
Have way more emotional intelligence,
Yeah.
and they have way more ability to put themselves in other people's shoes.
Yes.
They had
Yeah.
to for thousands of years. They had to understand what these alphas
Yeah.
were thinking because, they could cut your fucking head off if your baby didn't look like them.
Dude,
So they have
yeah,
developed empathy to a degree that we don't have. And I would say we need leaders in general that understand the shit we're talking about. But I'd even go heavier towards the women step
Well,
up.
I mean, there's a reason that Disney, my wife,
Let's not get crazy.
Well, I would say that even the team guys I respected the most were always the calmest dudes in the room. They were always the guys that had seen the most combat.
There's so much power in that.
They were
too,
always the guys that they didn't say as much, and when they did speak, everybody listened. And when they would open up their mouth and say something, you'd be like, it would always be way less severe than everybody else in the room. They were always more empathetic. They're always like, hey, we got to think about these people and those people. And being a single dad, I don't know if I have 3 kids I have full custody of, and they're all under the age. Well, now they're a little over the age of 10, but I've had them for several years now. And one thing I realized,
who the fucker's watching these kids?
I know, right? One thing I realized is like, I didn't have that energy. I was like, I had the total team guy like, suck the fuck up, do it, shut up, you're a bitch, you're being a bitch.
And sometimes you need that, but that's
for
not.
the last 3.5 years, I've had my kids solo, and I've realized how much soft energy they need to be good human beings.
Yeah.
And how bad of it,
dude,
not a bad human, but like how ignorant I was to all of that, and how much better I've become at just becoming more in touch with my feminine side.
We could write novels in terms of,
and I'm nowhere near done.
No, I mean in terms of what parenting means, because
dude, I had a daughter first for a reason. Most team guys do have girls first. That's
I had 2 boys. They went, ha, fuck you, bitch.
They're dickheads. Dude, my boys are
dickheads. But no, it was fucking funny in terms of parenting, and in terms of just, dude, people write shit all the time on Facebook like, you're such a great dad. I'm like,
you have no idea how much I fucked up.
I'm kind of a fucking douche.
Yeah, sometimes I'm so impatient.
I'm kind of fucking.
I am.
No, it's like, dude, no, I'm kind of not insecure, but I'm kind of a
you hold high standards for no reason.
It's like selfish.
Selfish.
Bit. Yeah.
I'm kind of a selfish fucking prick sometimes, and it's funny. I remember bringing the boys out to San Clemente Island when I was an instructor out there, and dude, talk about fucking expounding horizons. And I mean, the boys still talk about it to this day. Like, we went out on the fucking kayaks, and they're like, dude, kayaks. We're in these shitty ass fucking third phase fucking kayaks, and they start to fucking sink. And dude, the boys are just like
freaking out.
Fuck these kayaks! I'm swimming back to shore. I'm like, no, swim that kayak back. I turned into a third phase instructor, dude. I'm just like, and dude,
don't lose your equipment.
And dude, I had both my boys. They're just like, Dad, you were right and you were wrong.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, we're not your students.
You were a complete fucking asshole,
sons.
but at the same time, you were saying, hey, look, no one fucking was in jeopardy of dying.
Yeah.
They were cold. They were a little cold. I'm like, okay, swim the fucking thing back to shore. No one's going to fucking die. Nothing's going to happen. And it was, but of course, if you listen to my wife, it's like, it's about your tone.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very limiting.
Yeah.
It's very limiting to try to lead from one angle or one aspect. Like, it's so much more effective to lead from, like, if you understand both sides, like, because people speak different languages, like different love languages. So if you
understand our language.
If you're ignorant of those languages, you can yell a lot, you can say everything you want, but if you don't speak to them in a language they understand, you're literally talking a different fucking language. Like, you have to understand what motivates these people, how they see things, find a way to reach them and communicate with them, and then you can get what the fuck you want. You can move forward. You can make progress towards your fucking goals if you understand how people fucking operate.
And you hold a certain role. You can't be something you're not. One thing I've realized being a single dad, I have 100% custody of my kids. I have them all the time. And one thing I've realized is like, I'm never, ever going to be that full feminine energy for them. As hard as I try.
Dude, that's
you
a
don't
burden.
need to either.
I would say it's a burden, but it's not a burden.
I'm never going to be that.
But that's one of those fucking
It
things.
is, though, in
It's fucking
some
crazy,
ways.
man.
Like, my boys need that, and my daughter. My daughter's the oldest, and then I have 2 boys. And I realize, and this has been a huge fucking issue with me with dating and everything, is I'm trying to, close that gap.
So, like, bring
That
another
might not.
guy
That might
into
not
the-
be our fate. I'm bringing a really feminine guy, but they're all still dudes.
No, I get it.
This is all we're talking about being dads now, right? Kids, which we probably don't have time. This is a fucking another 2 hours. I would love.
No shit.
I would love to go into this because I got 3 kids and
Goddamn, dude.
as well.
But what I would say to all what you guys just said is intention is all that matters. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna fuck up as a dad. You're gonna fuck up as a parent. You're gonna say the wrong thing at the wrong time. You're gonna be harsh when you should have been soft. You're gonna be soft when you should have been harsh. But as long as you carry the intention behind that is always like, I'm just doing the best I can for what I think you fuckers need right now.
Yeah.
That is what will hold true when they become adults. If you bring greedy intention or abusive intention or manipulative intention or lying intent, all this stuff will truly long-term fuck kids up.
But you need to be hyper aware of that because we all do it. I do it.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is
Yeah.
those accidents, as long as I don't see a guy in this room who doesn't bring love intention to their children. Like we're just trying to make them swim the rafts, and I'm pretty sure this is the right thing to teach boys. You know, your intention was pure. It was just, I don't want you guys to be pussies. You guys need to learn to fucking swim a
Dude, they
raft.
got so pissed off when I'm firing the AK-47.
That was the wrong delivery, Kevin. That's the point.
Put your fucking head down!
Calm down.
If your intentions are love and really trying to teach them something, that's what's going to hold true. Beyond that is how you love. You're a single man, single father. You have a wife. You have a wife. How you exhibit that love to your wife is what they're going to mimic.
Yeah, you're modeling it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys want to take a quick break?
Dude, I think we need to wrap this shit up.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break and then we'll come back and.
Okay.
And sew it up. Okay,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Base!
Do you
Back
guys just roll this straight? You guys get through there and you pull the good
I
shit?
know that. No, I answer for you.
I like editing because, you can just pull the juicy good stuff
Well,
out
I
of
know
it.
some of the team guys have been on here, and I know they haven't shown everything.
Oh yeah, we had to delete some of that stuff. It was like I know our tagline is whiskey and war crimes. It was kind of like cute, fun
There's
war
real
crimes.
fucking war
There's some
crimes.
real war crimes. I had to delete. Yeah. Delete that shit forever.
War is war.
Yeah.
Hopefully you won't have to delete what I'm going to say next.
All
But we'll
right.
see.
All right.
Good.
You guys, everybody listening, it's been a few hours. We're going to wrap this up. There's way more to talk about. My
Absolutely.
connection with all you gentlemen has been fantastic. I really dig the vibe.
Dude, super fun.
Fucking dope.
Cheers,
So
fuckers.
cheers to that.
Indeed, gentlemen.
But we were going to close this out. And yes, we could keep going deep.
Face down, bombs
But
up.
we're going to end it with some fun stuff. A couple funny stories.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Ryan mentioned that. So let's do that. So earlier I mentioned I have a dick tattoo. Let me tell you how that went down.
All right.
So my wife, by the way, I'm going to do this right now. Holly, if you ever listen to this, which she never will, she doesn't even listen to my show, but maybe in 20 years she'll.
My wife doesn't listen to ours either.
There's like a stupid show. Fuck off. Anchor of my life. Honestly, probably the most powerful spirit I've ever met. And that's not a husband kissing an ass, the wife of his wife's ass. It's actually what I mean. So
Ass of a wife.
Which-
I can't pronounce it either.
I know. That goes full circle. It goes both ways. But anyway, love you and thank you. But she has no tattoos. 0.
Oh wow.
Whoa.
Which is odd, obviously.
Yeah,
There
very
was-
interesting.
There was talk
factoid.
in the
Yeah.
early years of like, why don't you express your art on me when we're out and about? I could be showing people what you're all about. And I was kind of into it. But it became apparent to me that, as I had run people through my schedule and I really got in tune with who really wanted what I do. I mean, it's one thing to come in and be like, I want a tat. Like, you need a certain amount of like, I want it energy.
You're committing a huge part of your body.
Yeah, when you do what I do, I have a routine I move people through to make sure I vet people basically. So I vetted my wife, and as I vetted her, it became wildly apparent she was just in this because I'm her husband.
Yeah.
And my answer to her at
You
the end of
vetted
that,
me out the same way.
I
You
vetted
did the
you?
same thing to me. Yeah, you were just like, I was like, I'm not really into your art, but
You're
I love
his
it.
husband?
No, but I'm just saying, like,
No,
your process is like, it's very, you have a really good line of questioning. Yeah.
I have to because
Yeah.
I've been down too many journeys where the journey doesn't finish, and if it doesn't finish, it means it's a waste of my time. I'm not here just to tattoo for money. I'm here to tattoo for a product. You know, at the end, a photograph that I can actually put in my portfolio. So I've got to be really careful who I deal with, and I've really hyper-tuned that. So my wife didn't pass the test on any level, and she was fine with it. I told her one day, I'm like, babe, let's face it. You want to get big tattoos because I'm your husband, and you really don't, though. I know. And she's like, and she agreed, and she's not tattooed. And that's beautiful. And she owns a laser removal company, which is
It's so funny.
That's the funny part of it. But
The polarity of it. Yeah.
But she has been around tattooing her whole life. Like, that girl probably understands tattoos, aesthetics, as good as my top tier tattooers. Like, her eye is that clean. Like, and she's probably a good designer in general, but she gets what's good and what's bad. She has a good taste for it. But she likes to tattoo. She gets a kick out of it. So when we have parties, I bring home the machine and I give her the machine, and she rips a little tat on our friend, and That's cool. That's been a routine throughout our lives. And we have a bunch of stories I could give you on those. And I think they're all beautiful. They're shitty tattoos, or shit, you would maybe call them shitty tattoos, but they're beautiful tattoos because they're, remember that night
It's
when
memories.
you
Yeah,
put that champagne
exactly.
glass tattoo on my ass? You know, they're great. They're great memories.
Yeah.
But on that note, we're in Montana at my son's wedding, and we are on one, and it gets a little crazy that night, and I don't know, I say tattoo my dick. My son is there, and his new wife.
You said Montana?
Yeah, my son lives in Montana.
Nice.
He's actually a undercover policeman that does narcotics operations out there. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
We get
And
Was
here's a picture
undercover.
of him. Shit.
can't even say his name. He's done some crazy shit up there with the
You wouldn't know
fentanyl.
his name.
Oh,
Oh, I bet.
I could break down through him. I could probably give some details about why this fentanyl issue is happening. That is
Interesting.
way deeper than what the fucking phone's telling you.
Interesting.
And
China.
it is
Sorry.
Yeah.
You're very close. You're very right, actually.
It is
But,
China.
but
Oliver
whatever.
Cartel.
I call it out. We're ripped. Let's do some. I already had tattooed. What did I do that night? I don't even know. I tattooed something on him and him, me, and then suddenly I'm like, dick tats. Let's go. I want to let her H on my shaft. Her name's Holly. Put a big ass H right there. Sure, no problem.
For hog.
Yeah. So here I am with my new daughter-in-law. My dick stretched across the countertop.
Wait, everybody's
Wife
watching this?
tattooing
Oh
the
my
H on my shaft.
Oh,
I don't even
geez.
think about this till the morning. I'm like, that was a little bit inappropriate, but whatever. I'm not the kind of guy that's going to lose
Hey,
sleep over
give me
shit
a
like that.
drink.
Wait, how old were the kids? That's
Old enough to get married.
Thank God the kids were not there. So she just starts going buck wild on this H on my dick. And
Wait, your wife?
my wife.
Okay,
Was it a cursive age?
I thought you meant your
Good question.
I thought you meant your daughter-in-law. I'm all like,
No,
respect.
the wife's doing daughter-in-law is comparing my dick to her new husband, my son. I don't know what she's doing.
Oh no.
I compare my dick to my son's dick. So
My dick's bigger than yours, you know it.
I'm like, did mine look like that when I was 8?
Dad's got the bigger dick. Anyways, so she does whatever, and now everyone's just passing out. We pass out and wake up in the morning and kind of shaking it off, like, wow.
Like, ow!
Yeah,
My dick hurts.
That's how it started. I was like, ow. I'm literally not even there yet. And I'm like, what the fuck is... And then it all starts coming in. I'm like,
It's just a black blob, though.
oh, the age... The ink wasn't even wiped off. It was just a fucking
wow.
disaster.
Yeah.
She's still asleep. So I'm like, oh, fuck. I got my dick tattooed last night. So I run in the bathroom. I get like a washcloth and I just start scrubbing off all the shit to see what's actually there.
Jesus
and I get
Christ,
down to the wound, and I'm like, and then there's this huge black bruise around the whole thing with a whitish edge. And I've been tattooing a long time, and I'm looking at that, and I'm like,
Might need some Rosefin for that.
I'm thinking staff.
That penetrated my penetrator a little
which
too
is
deep.
The arch nemesis of tattooing is staff.
Staph infection.
dang.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking we're
Not
drunk.
where you
No
want
one's
it
wearing
either.
gloves. Everyone's
Versus
laughing. Everyone's
resistant.
spit is going everywhere.
Oh,
We're in a rental house. My dick was on the fucking counter. I'm doing all my professional shit. I'm like, this was a hyper non-sterile
Broke all the
environment.
rules, yeah.
The dick is looking weird. There's black bruising. I've got
It's
a
not
white ring
the
around
first
it.
non-sterile environment your dick's been in, though. Let's be real.
True, but open wounded dick.
True.
You know, open skin dick. So I literally had in the bathroom.
cut your dick off,
I'm
didn't
like,
you?
I was thinking I might lose my dick. I'm like,
Yeah.
Aaron, do you realize
Yeah.
if this
Dictation.
went sideways, if this goes sideways, you lose your dick.
Yeah.
You lose a dick on this deal.
Wow.
So I'm having my own panic attack. But then I'm like, be cool. It's day one. It's probably just the dick is different. A lot
Be
of
cool, honey
bruising.
bunny.
She
Be
was
cool,
probably
honey bunny.
driving
Soak
that
in
needle
betadine.
crazy. I get it. A lot of blood vessels.
Yeah.
Be calm. Let's see how the next couple days go. So I go back to bed, pretend
Did
to
you
be
tell her to
asleep.
suck the infection out? Sorry.
like a snake bite. Get the venom out. So I lay back down.
There's only one way to cure it.
Then she wakes up, and I'm like, and now I'm back into like, I'm not going to stress about losing my dick anymore. I'm going to start joking with the wife. So
Husband
I'm-
mode, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like husband mode. So I'm like, hey, check it out. And she looks over and she's like, ugh. What the fuck is that? And I'm like, it's my new tattoo.
It's a big black
And
dick.
she just breaks, dude. Like, what the fuck happened to your dick? What is this? I'm like, you fucking did this.
You did this.
You did this. She's like, I did not. I'm like, and then she starts waking up more. And she's like, oh my God, I did that. And I'm like, yeah, you fucking did that.
Yeah.
And she's crying. She keeps saying, I ruined your dick. I ruined your dick.
You're like, babe, before you start freaking the fuck out, you might want to look at your vagina.
But it's black and bigger.
Big A. Oh, man. Oh, geez.
Anyway, cut the story short. Dick did heal. But I'll end this with this.
That's scary, man. That's scary.
It was scary.
Yeah.
But it was just what I
Yeah.
said. It was just, I don't know, someone who doesn't know what they're doing, driving needles and blood vessels were bursting, and it made a really weird look. But it heals.
Looks cool though, right?
Yeah. Also, the vasculature of the dick is weird, isn't it? Like,
Well, yeah, exactly. Talk
It
about
is.
blowouts, right? But so she does this weird.
Anatomically
H with,
speaking,
it's
it
supposed
is.
to be cursive, but it's not quite cursive. This part falls out of the letter H. This part doesn't. And it was like months later, I'm with my boys up in Tahoe, and we're doing the snowmobile trip. And this one dude, Todd, I'm telling the same story. He goes, "Let me see it." And I, of course, show him. I don't mind showing him. And
Now I
he
have to
just
see
goes, he goes, "Huh, that's a cowboy fishing." And I suddenly,
Cowboy what?
cowboy fishing.
does it have a cowboy hat on?
Dude, I'll show you fuckers later,
way.
dude. I
No
looked
way.
down at my dick and I'm like, because some of it fell out and some of it stayed. It's a
way.
fucking stick figure, side view. Of this is one letter H, and the squiggle at the bottom looks like cowboy boots, and the squiggle at the top looks like a cowboy hat. The H that crosses looks like a fishing pole, and the top of the H fell out, and this part looks like a fishing line going down my dick. And I look at my dick, and I'm like, it's a cowboy fishing. You're right.
That's even better.
Is there a way to crop the photo so that it'll still stay on Instagram of just the tattoo?
Oh, my God.
So hopefully Holly
How
doesn't
big is your
watch
dick?
this.
Sorry.
I'm having this officially by a pro turned into. I'm having a new tattoo done. I'm going to go with a cowboy fishing down the dick with a little fish on the head of my dick.
There you go, straight to Legends of the Fall there. The river runs through it.
Yeah.
I think you should make it a big fish.
Fucking great white. Great white.
Got a big one, Bertha.
It's like, holy shit.
God,
That's and then
hilarious,
tell your
man.
wife that's you, babe.
I caught you.
But this might be full circle to an earlier conversation, which is tattoos are art, and if you want beautiful tattoos that mean art to you, find that person, get her done.
Yeah.
But they
And
can
don't
be,
get them tattooed on the head of your dick.
or do.
Or do.
Talk about an experience, though, man. Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. Holy
And
shit.
yeah, no one died. Everyone's fine. We're
Yeah,
laughing.
Nobody lost appendages.
You're still married.
Still
Yeah.
married.
I
that's
think,
awesome.
but your point, it's like it can be a big deal. It also can. It's not that big a deal, man. It's a fucking tattoo.
Well, I think like most things, it's as big a deal as you make it.
Yeah,
You know. Yeah.
it's subjective. It is what you make it.
90%, 99% of things in life, that's true.
Yeah.
There is a 1% that is less subjective. There are some things that matter. Maybe I could give an extreme example. My kids died and a drunk driver killed my family today.
Oh, fuck.
Right? I only
Yeah.
bring that up to illustrate the point. There are acute moments in our life that are meaningful and that do fucking matter and need to be attended to.
That require
But
attention.
they do. But we should all question ourselves when we get heated, when we get emotional, when we feel these feelings, and ask ourselves, is this one of those moments? Or is this one of those moments that in 5 years I don't even fucking barely remember? Or if I do remember it, I laugh about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll take that one step further. Are any of these moments something that define you?
None of them define you.
Who defines you?
You.
You.
Yeah.
Nothing that happens to you defines you.
No, unless you
Nothing
let it.
that you do defines you, other than what you do going forward.
I think
the
that's-
only thing that defines you is what you do from now going forward. That's presence.
That's the beauty of the human experience. Like you choose what you get to define yourself with.
Yeah, nothing that happened you
Yeah.
did
Well-
before matters. If you're living life,
What do you do in life?
Yeah, I agree
when
with
you
that.
when you think back, I don't know, when you fucking die, like, how are you going to be eulogized, if that's even a fucking word?
You're
Yeah.
good. You're good. You Googleizer.
how will people remember you?
You know?
Yeah. No, it's
Because
fair,
honestly, I mean, dude, I remember sitting up, my dad, like I was saying earlier, my dad died 3 years ago, and I'm sitting there with my two brothers. We're eulogizing my dad, and he was a scoutmaster, and he was
Yeah.
a prison.
was he?
He was a prison hostage negotiator, and he taught the GED to a bunch of fucking people. He was an EOD guy in the army for 22 years, and he did a lot of fucking random shit, but he didn't ever really let any of that shit define him.
Yeah.
So like, it's fucking weird. I would look back at my dad and I'm like, wow, that's fucking really fucking weird.
I would say
I
it's
looked at
fucking
all
cool.
that shit.
Which is
Yeah.
interesting about having you on the show, obviously, is like a lot of people think that tattoos define them.
Yeah.
But they're not just definitions of who you are, but also who you used to be
Yeah.
and who you want to be.
Well, I think there's.
Now
an
let's see
argument-
that dick.
Yeah, come on, let me see that cowboy.
I think there's an argument to be made that like a large portion of what defines you from the external, right? Because you have this internal view of yourself. You're driving a car and you think you're driving a yellow car, but that's not necessarily. You could be driving a blue car, and somebody on the outside is like, "Hey, nice blue car," and you're like, "Fuck, I thought I was driving a yellow car." But I think one way to look at it is that you could be defined by the stories that people tell about you.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of that is a eulogy, or when you pass on, like, what are the stories that people tell about you?
Yeah.
Like, do they tell the good things, the bad things,
Yeah.
the funny things, the sad things? Like, and a lot of that has to do with the way you live. And we all have challenges in our life. We all have things that happen to us, and it's like how you react to those things, how you internalize those things, and how you process and
What are you
externalize
leaving
those the rest of your
behind?
life.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Like, what are the stories that you're telling? How are you impacting other people's lives? And those are the stories that people tell, and that's the legacy that you leave. And I think if more people kind of looked at their actions that way, I think they'd have a different perspective on maybe some of the actions that they take.
I think the meaning of life is how you impact other people.
Yeah. I think everybody should be the main character of their own life and a good supporting character in everybody else's life. I think if you approach it that way, like, Go for the stories. Go take that fucking risk. Go do wild shit. Have these fucking experiences that you can tell stories about later. And if you can bring people along for the ride, if you can enhance other people's experiences in their lives on the way, like, you fucking win, man. Like,
Well
that's how you
said.
fucking win.
Aaron, take us away. Give us
I would add a deeper level to that, which is what you do for others is what you do for yourself, because you're the whole thing.
So be responsible with it. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I mean,
it's all connected.
They're not others. They're you.
Yeah.
That's who you
This
want to
world,
yeah.
this universe is you.
Dude, yeah.
And so why would you not treat yourself with grace, compassion?
Karma.
Obviously, there are lines. I talked about those earlier.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to cross an absolute line, there's right action that has to be taken. But that comes up pretty rarely. It really is just more about loving and nurturing others, which in my mind is you.
Yeah.
You're viewing this world from your aperture, which you're just looking at yourself.
And to tie it all back to tattoo culture before you take it away, like when we look at ancient ruins of even Egyptians, we can see their tattoos. Like that's actually left behind on our skin. Whatever you get tattooed on you, we will be able to see through technology that we have today.
If you're frozen in ice or mummified, yeah. Otherwise, dust in the wind. But yeah, I mean, you're referencing the.
I think
that has to be the song to his photo album that you share. It's got to have him tattooing Joe.
Dude, fucking Kansas. They're still not in the Rock and Roll.
I'm gonna listen to that shit
Dust
on
in
my
the wind, and then a bunch of photos of Aaron's career. That's it.
dude.
At the end of the day, we are the stories that we tell, and that's what I love about this show, or any podcast or any forum. I think
any good one.
any good one, But I think,
And the lessons we learned from everyone.
Oh, absolutely. That's a big piece of
Yeah.
it. Yeah, the stories that we tell for each other, about each other, like in support of each other. I think that's a huge piece of what it means to be human, and I think everybody deserves a little bit of grace. And there's a lot of power in extending other people grace, and by extension, yourself, man. And dude, I know you're way over time. Thank you for sharing your time with us and all these stories and
pleasure.
experiences. So, is there anything you want to plug, or where can people find you on Instagram, socials?
It's pretty
anything?
simple. I mean, Guru Tattoo. That's my shops. You can find me through that shit. Aaron.
Multiple, right?
Multiple locations. PB in Little Italy, Southern California, San Diego.
Soon to be Austin?
Hashtag Austin.
Soon to be, I
Yeah, there you
think.
go.
We're
What are you
playing-
thinking? What do you think of that?
That's a longer story.
All right.
I got my needle on the pulse of all my businesses, and this one's like just feathering around, and I got others that are
Joe, hook it
bursting,
up.
and you only got
Mothership.
so many resources. Where am I going to put them? I don't know.
Some comedians need some
Also, my
tattoos.
podcast, Chats and Tats, CHATS and TATTS. If you want to hear more about me talking shit about all the things I talked about today,
That's good stuff.
Fuck yeah.
And if you're into like longevity and wellness, Evolve Skin Spa and Wellness. They do all that NAD stem cell crazy, fucking do your blood, figure out what's going on, make you a superhuman. I do a lot of that stuff. I highly recommend that. It's a good thing to look into. If
Where
you've got
are
the
they located
resources.
at?
Skin Spa and Wellness, Carlsbad.
Okay.
Yeah, but we have a new one opening up right now in Oceanside. So
awesome.
those are some spots to check me out, and I think we should find one-on-ones or three-ways or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
We'll do it again because
Hell
this
yeah.
vibe was awesome. You guys
Yeah.
are rad.
Yeah.
Bro,
For
thank you
sure.
so much for sharing
yeah.
this up, man.
That was
Yeah.
fucking awesome.
Great time.
Dude.
Thank you.
Hell
You're
yeah.
a fucking
Hell yeah.
man.
Fuck yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for listening. That's a wrap.
Peace out.